Hello, everyone, and happy Tuesday. It is time for another top five. It feels like it's been forever since we've done this because there wouldn't have been a top five last week anyways because party chat and party chat, but everything's been all out of whack going to Vegas last week, which was a blast. But glad to be back with the regularly scheduled program this week and to have another episode of top five. And we got a good panel here tonight. So what's up, Jason? How you doing tonight?
Not much. Hearing about your Vegas trip back there sounded like fun. So.
Yes, it was a blast. Does it feel as long for you as it was for me from our last episode of Top 5? Because it feels like many, many weeks ago to me.
No, not really. I've been working on things in the background, so maybe that's the reason why. But no, it feels like the 2 weeks.
Okay, for me it feels a lot longer, but I'm glad to be back in it. We're gonna have a great stream tonight. So with that, let's go ahead and say hi to our awesome guests tonight. First up, we got my achievement hunting buddy, Dude1286, joining us tonight. What's up, dude?
Howdy.
Coming
I got
in
about 30
last
controllers. 30 controllers next to me.
That does not surprise me. So,
I did not grab my TurboGrafx or 3DO controllers just because I didn't. Hey, TurboGrafx has built-in turbo.
Okay.
But then again, the shooters were actually designed with that in mind, so it actually makes a bit more sense.
So yeah,
you think of it that way.
Dude messaged me last night while I was on Metroidvania Monday, and he's like, "Hey, am I in on controllers tomorrow?" I'm like, "You are if you want to be." So I'm glad to.
I could have swore I said yeah, but you never sent me the message, sent me the restream thing, and
it might have been. But glad to have you on for another episode of Top 5, as well as our other good buddy on the internet, Melee James. What is up?
Oh, hi. Oh, my goodness. It's time to get downright and grippy as we talk about our favorite controllers. This one was hard, and there's going to be a lot of puns, a lot of those kind of talk here. But this one was hard to come up with. I don't even know what I'm doing, but I do have a list. I have a list, and there's controllers on it. So let's do it. Let's rank it. I'm excited, and I can't wait to be yelled at. Let's go.
So you'll have to forgive James's camera. It's not cooperating with him tonight, but good. Thankfully, his audio is coming through okay. But yeah,
am I still freezing?
Keeps freezing. So
yeah, you're Mr. Freeze tonight.
Thanks.
Oh, everybody, chill.
But glad you could join.
The one that's probably gonna be the most fun is gonna be definitely Jason because of him and his fighting experience.
Fighting
game experience.
I when I was looking at the thumbnail right before we went live, I saw like a fight stick in there. I'm like, I don't have any fight sticks on there because fighting is not my genre, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jason's were just his top 5 favorite fighting sticks.
I should have grabbed my NES Advantage controller. That's pretty much a fight. That's pretty much a fight stick for the NES.
Yeah, I remember the NES one. I used it once or twice at a friend's house. So, got a few people in chat already. Got October Mike saying, "Hey yo, be on my PC in a bit." Well, what's up, October Mike? And Angry Canadian is there as well. No one brings up the ASCII GameCube controller. I will riot. I don't.
To be honest, the only reason why I wasn't going to bring it up because I don't have one yet.
Well, I don't. Oh, is that the GameCube with the whole keyboard on it?
Yes.
Okay, I have
that
seen
one.
that. I just know
someone actually brought one to a Smash tournament just because.
That's hilarious. And we got Comics Dad. What's up, Comics Dad? Welcome. Good to see you. I've seen your name around. I don't think I've seen you in my chat before, but good to see you. I met a lot of people last week in Vegas. I might have run into you. If you're in Vegas, let me know. But good to see you, Comics Dad. It might have been because I was on open mic or off the hip last night. That might have been where you found me. That was fun too. So got to recap some awesome stuff in Vegas. On Thursday will be the next episode of Open Mic. I'm having Paul Hadouken on, and we're going to be talking about Vegas more in depth. So if anyone wants to
hopefully
hear
don't skip on you again.
You're supposed to not talk about Vegas. That's the rule. It's like everyone is talking about their Vegas experience, and the rules you don't. It's like the golden rule, and now everyone's sharing. What changed?
Yeah, well, here's the thing, though. Neo didn't even talk to me on his Vegas stream because he wasn't reading the Rumble chat.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
you.
well, I saw it at the beginning because he was on YouTube and he switched over to Rumble, but I didn't have anything but YouTube in front of me because I was on my iPad. I didn't know it like basically until we went live that I wasn't going to have the restream in front of me, and it was at a computer next to me, so I couldn't see any of the other chat. So, but I am going to go back and rewatch it so I can see what you said. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
I don't think Rumble keeps the chat like the other channels do.
Oh, it doesn't. Oh, bummer. All right.
That's part of the reason why I like actually having it on screen, so that it kind of gets immortalized forever.
Oh yeah, like I do with my gaming streams where I have it on
Yeah.
the side, so you can see it after the fact. So, but yeah, we're gonna be talking about our trip to Vegas. It was a lot of fun. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. So, and Canadians, I saw one the other day. They be expensive. Oh, I think he's talking about the ASCII GameCube controller. Oh, and Comic Dad saying, yeah, I was in Off the Hip last night. So cool. I get around like a friendly, socially transmitted thing. I am in many chats. Well, good to see you do another episode of Top 5. This is episode 30. So I've been doing this for a little while now, and it is a lot of fun. So real quick before we go around here, I like to, if possible, ask a little question for each of you about tonight's topic. And if it is, don't say so, whether what I'm about to ask you is on your list or not. But I just wanted to ask everyone, what was their first controller? So what got me into gaming was Super Nintendo. So Super Nintendo was my first controller. It's not
the same
on
for
my
me.
list. But if yours is on your list, I'm curious what.
Mine, it's not on my list either, so I'll show it off. This is
Okay.
This is the one that came with the SNES Mini, though.
That's the
Oh,
same
yeah.
Super Nintendo controller I have with the purple and light blue.
But the reason why I brought this one out is because I actually have this one able to plug into an adapter that allows me to plug
so
it
you
into a
use it on
PC.
PC.
So
Nice.
I actually can play Super Nintendo games with a Super Nintendo controller.
Yeah, I know you got that for your GameCube as well, and probably some other stuff would be my guess.
I have an N64 one that's repro. But I'll talk about that later. But I don't actually have it here because I actually have a special just controller for the N64 that I have. But I have a USB one, but the stick is does not feel the same.
Okay. Gotcha.
It feels like it uses one of the more modern types of sticks, and for N64 you need that original stick.
All right. Yeah.
There's a reason why there's a replacement that changes it to a metal rod in the middle, and it's $170, and it's just the actual stick part. It's not even the full assembly.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard from people that have played like the N64 games on Switch Online. They're like, even with the N64 controller for Switch, it's still not the same. So.
Because they didn't use the same stick. They used the more modern sticks, which sucks.
So yeah, I've heard that the classic.
Thing is, though, before I moved to Linux, I did have a way to plug in original N64 controllers into my computer, but for some reason, that adapter doesn't have drivers for Linux. So because when I switched over, it couldn't work anymore.
Bummer. What about you, James? What controller did you start on?
I think if I can remember back that far, I don't know for a fact because I have no memory, but I believe my first controller was probably the Atari 2600, that big black stick with a red dot on the side of it.
I knew I was going to forget something, and that was going to be that. I actually have it. I have an Atari 2600 controller.
I think that was my first. I think so. It was one of my first, if not my first, gaming system I ever played on. I'm pretty confident on that. My dad introduced me to that big black stick there, and I've been hooked ever since. So that was how I played games. Whether it was that what was that adventure? I think it was just called Adventure Game or something with the dragons, and then Haunted House, which I love. Where you
Adventure was the first game to have an Easter egg, and it was also the first game to have a credit in the game.
Ooh! Oh my God, that dragon though, he can.
Because back then it was like considered bad by the companies for you to put the programmer's name in the game.
Oh, that era, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about that.
So he made it so it was a secret way to find the Easter egg, and it was his name in it in the game.
I think I've seen that,
I'm getting credit.
Video.
That makes sense.
All right. And what about you, Jason? What did you start on?
Same with me. I had 26. I'd say that was the first game I played with. I could always remember Pitfall and everything. But if you had to say like which controller I grew up with, I would say NES. That would be the one that I would say that's how I learned pretty much everything. And then all the controllers from that, which I have something from there on there, but we'll get there when I get there, kind of thing.
All right. So a couple people in chat are saying what they started
This is
with.
also the NES Mini controller as well, but
Oh,
they still did a good job with the
oh,
Super Nintendo and NES.
because the NES original controller, the cord is in the center, not offset.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this cord is so short.
You have to
That's
be
like
right up to the TV.
1 foot cord. That's ridiculous.
Oh, they're tiny.
Yeah, they're super tiny.
So a couple people in chat are saying their first controller. Comics Dad says that his first was the NES controller as well.
Oh, by the way, I do have one really crazy NES controller that I brought out, and it's this.
What? The
This is
Look at
actually
that.
a touch. This is like a touchpad.
Mhm.
for NES.
Yeah,
Can you use that just for any game, or was this
Yeah.
for a specific one?
you can
You
use it
look
for any
like a
game.
member of the Borg when you hold that in front of your face there. I feel like resistance is futile or something. Oh my goodness.
I mean, if you really look at it, it was the start of what the Xbox D-pad looks like now.
Yeah, that's true.
I still think the Xbox original D-pad is better than this one's.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So October Mike saying that for me, he started with the N64 controller. All right.
What a weird way to
Sons
start.
of Shadows
Oh my
is
God.
here. What's up, Sons and Shadows? And Sons of Shadows says, let's go with the Sega Genesis 6-button controller. I have a feeling that might be making an appearance on somebody's list. Not mine.
I'm gonna start
But
moving
somebody's.
these controllers out of the way because after when we talk about them, because it'll be just
Dude,
crazy.
Are
probably
you
has
just
a lot.
married in controllers? Are they all
Yes.
plugged in and you're just gonna
No, they're not
hit
plugged in.
vibrate right at that same time and blast off there?
Most of these controllers do not have vibration
Oh,
built in, so
I was gonna say probably
Oh,
most of them
okay.
don't even have rumble in them. And Christian Frades is here saying his favorite is the DualShock 2, but he started with the NES and PlayStation 1. Interesting combo. So, all right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and get into our number 5. So, Jason, as is per usual, go ahead and kick us off.
Yeah. So mine, I was late to the system as a kid, and then I fell in love with it later, and more now as an adult. But my number 5 is the Sega Saturn controller.
you know what? I might as well say it now. That's my number 5 as well.
Oh,
Even though I haven't used the controller as much, every time I've used it, I actually really enjoy it, especially for Genesis and Saturn games.
It's so good. The D-pad's
sick.
great.
And this is
Yeah.
even the PC version where they did a reproduction line. They have a reproduction line where you can actually get the USB port or an actual original Saturn port.
Mhm.
So you can. It's easy to get this for PC nowadays.
Yeah, it's such a great controller. I mean, for what the Saturn was, I mean, it was a great 2D system. So it was great for that. Obviously, it brought the arcades home as well. So it had the 6 buttons. So if you did like fighting games as well, you had a great controller for that. If it was better
I
than
mean,
the
I could see someone
controller.
actually playing it like this.
A lot of people did play it that way. Yeah, that's where Crab Claw kind of became more of a thing. But yeah, I mean, it's smaller than what the Genesis controller was. I mean, it's the smaller Batwing. I mean, it has everything there and a great compact design, and I mean, it just fit in your hands really well.
And it's got the shoulder buttons.
is because if you didn't have the logo on it and you just put that controller in front of me, I would have thought it was the one that Sons of Shadow just mentioned, this Genesis 6-button controller. Is it basically the same but like better?
Yes,
It is
yeah.
better, and it also has shoulder buttons. The Genesis never had shoulder buttons.
Oh, okay. Then the one that I played over at my friend's house must have been a third-party controller, because I remember his Sega Genesis 6-button controller did have shoulder buttons, but it was because it had little toggles on it. For
I was just gonna ask you, did it have the toggles in the middle of the controller where you can
Yes.
do each button? Yeah.
So that must have been a third-party. one.
Definitely.
Okay.
Actually, surprisingly, I don't have many third-party controllers next to me. So
I think I played a Saturn once, maybe twice at like a friend of a friend's house.
Yeah, I mean, it was a niche system back then. I mean, it's even more niche now because of pricing and everything like that. But I mean, they always say the people that played the Saturn and played the games on it, they know of it, and they know how great of a system it was. Screwed themselves by pricing and everything else with it, not having a
and also
proper
not
selling
releasing
game.
most of the good stuff in America.
Right.
It's most
And-
of it stayed in Japan.
Right. Which now too, it's easier to get those copies here because it was all open for Japanese and NES markets.
And also those cases were a lot easier to keep intact.
See, that's the unfortunate part where Japan got it wrong. Is like I think the Sega Saturn cases are one of my. I love those cases
the
so
only
much.
problem I have with them is that they're very hard to find and still intact.
Oh yeah, they're fragile as all can be
They're
too.
like those
Yeah.
jewel cases, kind of like the ones that CDs used to come in, but bigger, right?
Yeah. There was like remember that Sega CD game I showed you 2 weeks ago, kind of like that big long box,
Yes.
hard plastic one. Yeah.
PlayStation started that way, but then they were like, "Nah, let's go to the smaller jewel case."
So, the
They
one
even
or
had
two times.
PlayStation even had plastic, cardboard, and the jewel case
Yeah.
style.
Yeah.
So it made collecting those early games a little pain in the butt.
Especially the cardboard ones, like the artwork on the PlayStation cardboard, the glue would always give up eventually.
Yeah, that's what it is on my Resident Evil copy.
Same.
But yeah, the one or two times I played a Saturn over to a friend's house, I'm pretty sure it was Nights into Dreams. Was that on Saturn?
By the way,
Yeah,
there is
they're
another
a controller.
Saturn. There is another Saturn controller that was built for that.
Oh my God, look
I've
at
seen that
beast.
one, but I've never seen one in person.
Yeah,
I
that
actually have
is-
two.
What
a weird one. I feel like you have to have like Mr. Fantastic thumbs to reach some of those buttons up there. Good Lord.
Actually, nah.
You're good?
It's I mean, it's more like a traditional controller that we have
It's, more,
today.
it's closer to. It's actually really close to the Dreamcast controller, and I can even show that off right next to it.
Okay.
So, Angry Canadian says,
See, they're
if
about
you
the same
need-
size.
Yeah.
If you need a Saturn game, Jason, and then I don't know what he was referring to because he didn't say anything, but since we're both hosts, I think when he types, it says my name, so that was actually Jason that replied to him.
Also, one of the fun things about the Dreamcast is that the VMU is its own controller because
I'm
it's its own
assuming
console.
that's
Love
on
that.
someone's list.
Maybe.
By the way, I actually have more VMUs than I actually have Dreamcast controllers right now.
I think, yeah, that sounds about right.
I have 3 Dreamcast controllers, but 4 VMUs.
So, all right. And Winky Wakey Woo says, "Is there a Rumble link?" Yes. I don't. Jason doesn't have a Rumble, but I do stream to Rumble as well. So if you want to go watch this over on Rumble on my channel, you can go do that if you would like.
It's the same name as his
Yes.
YouTube.
Nerdy Neo. So, but good to see you, Winky Wakey Woo.
You should be able to see it this time.
Yeah, I'll be able to see it this time, unlike last week's party chat, because I'm actually in front of Restream tonight. So, all right, Sega Saturn. All right,
Yep.
I almost said Genesis again. All right, well, that knocks out 2 birds with one stone, since that was Dew's number 5 as well.
Oh, yeah.
James, you want to go next? You want me to go?
Sure, I can whip it out real quick here. This is my number
Excuse me
5.
while I whip this out. Ah!
Okay, just give me
There is a
second.
reason why we put this not for kids tonight.
Oh, yeah, because I'm here. All right. Yeah, there we go. Up. Oh, there it is. Oh, number
I was thinking about
5.
bringing out some Guitar Hero controllers, but
I have mine handy as well. It's on my honorable
Oh,
mentions.
Let's go. This is my number 5.
I would if I could
Oh
still
my-
play them.
Oh, I can't. This is.
Do we all have the Explorer?
Is it,
I have an Explorer in the other room. Yeah, I've always preferred the Rock Band controller though.
No, I almost swore, and I remember here you don't like that. This right here is my favorite Guitar Hero controller. This is the Explorer. This came. This is also one of my favorite guitars in real life. James Hetfield always uses an Explorer. I love the Explorer. I just love its like nice jagged look. And this was the launch Guitar Hero controller when it went over to the Xbox 360. This is what you got with Guitar Hero 2.
Yep.
And I have had a lot of controllers over the days and over my life, but this one I just love. It's nice, it's big, it's bulky, and if you can hear it, that thwack, the thwack on the little
It's so
strummer
tricky.
here.
Personally, I've always preferred the softness of the Rock Band controllers.
I like it hard. I like it hard and snappy. So
I got my
know-
Rock Band one here as well. I don't
Oh.
like the mushiness of it.
I hate
That's
it.
bass guitar.
Yeah, it's I like them to like click so that I like know that I'm hitting it, so that when I miss those notes, it's just like, oh, that was on me, not on anything else. And I've tried to take care of these babies because outside of Guitar Hero 2, I don't think they've ever like properly remade this one. And so I've got
No,
two of
not
them.
that one.
Not that
Yeah,
one.
and this one, this has always been my favorite. This has been the tight one, and I love it. I use it for absolutely everything. It's one of the main reasons I don't upgrade Guitar Hero. So there you go. And if anyone's like, that's not a controller, plug it in and see. You can play Halo with it. Not well, but you can. You can try.
You can play any 360 game with it. You're not going to do very well since you
No.
don't have a joystick, but you can hit buttons.
I think the whammy bar is the right stick, so you just keep turning. But if you
Hey,
hold
there is
it
a
right
really
there,
good there is a really good channel called Stop Skeletons from Fighting that does those weird controllers.
Oh,
Mhm.
really? Oh my
Yeah, he does a
God.
really good job.
So anyway, there is my number 5. It is the Explorer for Guitar Hero 2, and I use it for everything. This is my favorite way to play Gears of War. Actually, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that.
The only thing I wish that they would have done is I wish they had another one, because when they had the Les Paul one come out, I like the size of the Les Paul one, but I like the Explorer because that's one of my favorite guitars of all time too. But like, the size of this is just so much nicer with the buttons, and the buttons are a little bit more.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So like again, like I can't even fit this one full frame.
I think Triple W is getting confused by some people aren't being mirrored and some are not.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's fair. That is fair.
So yeah,
I think James is mirrored.
Because I'm trying to fix my
James
freezing
is a lefty
issues.
though, right? James, you're a lefty, right?
Yeah. What's weird is
Raise your left hand.
There you go.
Left hand.
But yeah, no, I tried.
hand.
I unmirrored myself just to see if it fixed my freezing, and so now I'm like whatever. But anyway, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something about this, but yeah, I'm left-handed, but for some reason I'm only left-handed when it comes to writing. Everything else I'm right-handed in. So when it comes,
that's kind of like my brother. He's like ambidextrous because he does different things with different. I think he throws with his left hand, but he kicks with his right foot.
Oh yeah, see, I'm just broken. So anytime I've played Guitar Hero,
all lefties are broken.
I know I am. Oh, I deserve to get whipped in school. But anytime I try to do the lefty flip, I just feel like I'm gonna have a stroke. Well, yeah, of course. Depends on the teacher, really, but
so
well, there you go.
All right, so while we're on the topic, it is in my honorable mentions. I did want to put it in my top 5, but I didn't want to put 2 from the same series of controllers in. So this is in my honorable mentions.
Okay.
I would like Jason. I would have put the Guitar Hero 3 Les Paul on here, especially because it's wireless, and this one is not wireless. But the thing is that this one, my Les Paul doesn't work anymore because it had the detachable neck and the connections don't connect anymore. So I can't even use it. So that's why I like this one, because I could still plug this one and use it. The only thing I don't like is that the spring inside the whammy bar broke a long time ago. So if I want to do what I do is I put a rubber band around here and then put it on here, and it keeps it up if I want to use it use the whammy bar. Otherwise, it just stays down. So
yeah, I think the same thing happened to mine.
If it wasn't for the disconnectable neck,
the Rock Band guitar controllers don't have the whammy bar breaking.
Well, hold on, I'll get to that in just a second. But if the Les Paul didn't have the detachable neck, that would have been my number 1 guitar controller. But my other one is the Rock Band one. I do like this one. Like we said, I don't like the mushiness. It's harder to tell. I do like the clickiness. But the thing is, I love these buttons higher up on the neck, because these ones you don't actually have to strum it at certain parts.
Your solo bar.
Yeah, the whammy bar on here does still work. It's got this little thing. I don't know what this was ever for.
It changes the effect. It changes the effect of a special of the sound whenever you're in Star Power.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I like this one. But if I had to pick a guitar controller, it's going to be the Gibson, or it's a Gibson Explorer, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Because this is the Fender Stratocaster, right?
Yeah.
And this is modeled after a bass guitar. Is that what you were saying earlier?
No, I said that's the guitar that we all use for bass.
Oh,
you're player 2.
Yeah. You don't need to hear the clicks of the song. You could just mush the bass out. And I mean, actually playing that with because you wanted to play bass strumming up, because there was an achievement, everything that way. If you played the smushy going up, it actually works pretty well, because it goes quicker, so you can actually kind of feel like you're playing a bass.
That was one other thing I was going to say while we were on the topic of lefty flip, because in Guitar Hero 3 had some really retarded achievements.
Like use an actual controller instead of.
There was an achievement for beating Guitar Hero 3 on hard or better with a standard controller, which takes all the fun out of the game.
That's Activision taking over.
Yeah, there was also an achievement for beating it on lefty flip. So I couldn't do it lefty, so I put a mirror behind me and I played it looking in the mirror. So I was playing it like normal, but I had lefty flip on.
Nice.
So,
oh, that's clever. Oh, that's a good idea. But yeah, Guitar Hero 3, don't get me started on that. Because that was Activision taking over and them not understanding that like the point was the music and to feel like you're playing it. And that was the start of we're just gonna make it as hard as possible just to make it hard. So
That's why you had to still have Rock Band, because that's where the
Yeah.
original developers went to.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Harmonix was still killing it. I loved Harmonix.
Like they'd still put hard songs in, but they'd still make it feel like you're playing it.
Yeah, they were proper hard. It was like it felt more authentic. So no, I was definitely
Green Grass
Team
and High
Harmonix.
Tides.
That
Oh
was the
my
final
God.
song on Rock Band 2 or Rock Band 1.
Yeah, I'm having PTSD right now.
Just a little bit.
Oh yeah, you were talking about that not too long ago on an episode. I don't remember which episode we were talking about, but I remember we were talking about that. So, Paul hopped in chat saying howdy, what's up? He says he also has that same Guitar Hero guitar. Yeah, and talking about the freeze framing. Yeah, for some reason James is occasionally freezing, but fortunately the audio comes through okay.
I'm tempted to try another browser. I just didn't know until we were going live. It's like, you're freezing. All right, let's go. I'm like, what? No. So I might try another browser. We'll see.
So,
It's
all
not
right.
terrible.
I'm usually terrible, but thank you, dude.
So, all right. So for my number 5 is a I don't have it anymore because and it has nothing to do with the hardware. The hardware was great. It was the software that went along with it that I've raged about on a few episodes. And I did bring it up recently on an episode of Party Chat. So I don't have it anymore because I gave it away. But let me go ahead and pull it up here. Let's see here. Share. And I want no. Which tab is it?
Oh, I'm in suspense. I can't wait to see it.
Where'd it get? Why?
While you're taking
there
the time,
it is.
Is it the Super Nintendo mouse?
I forgot that existed.
I wonder if they're going to bring it back now that the Switch 2 has mouse support.
I've actually seen some mock-ups of some people making like that would go around the as like an actual case around the Switch controller. The Switch controller, and actually
Joy-Con.
make it more substantial as a mouse, so it doesn't feel like you're digging your hand into it.
So,
Like
all right.
Digging into your hand.
Yeah, terrible design on that one.
All right, so here it is. The Xbox 360 wireless racing wheel. I spent so much freaking time with it. So my first wheel ever was the N64. I think it was a Mad Catz wheel. My grandparents got it.
What about the Wii wheel? This isn't the official one, but still.
I've never had a Wii racing wheel. But probably one of my earliest racing games was San Francisco Rush on N64. My grandparents got me the N64 racing wheel. So I got into racing games, but I really got into them on 360, and I got the first party 360 racing wheel, wireless racing wheel here. And I played a good number of racing games on 360, although the ones that this was mainly for was for Forza. So I played a heck of a lot of Forza 2 and Forza 3. Like, not Horizon, because Horizon didn't exist back then. I mean, it started on 360, but I'm talking about Forza Motorsport 2 and Forza Motorsport 3. I played a lot, and this thing was fantastic. I loved this thing. It felt so smooth. And there were other ones that had like stick shifts on them, which I would have loved, but those ones were like way more expensive. I would have loved to have had those, but this thing served me well. It worked great, but to refer back to what I was referring to on why I got rid of it was because Forza 3, I think I have 1 or 2 more achievements left. And one of them is for getting gold medals in every race in the game. There are 969 races in the game. And I was probably I had somewhere around 920 to 940. So I was at the closing stretch of finishing the game. And my data corrupted and I lost everything. So even though the Forza games are great, I've sworn off the Forza games, and I gave my Forza games and my steering wheel to one of my friends. I'm like, here, you can have it. It's yours. So that was because of the software, not because of the hardware. This thing was fantastic, and I loved it. And I kind of want it back to continue playing some of those racing games with it. It's not going to happen, but
I have an
loved this thing, and
N64
it was
wheel,
great.
but it hasn't worked in a long time. Sadly.
I love how that wheel looks. It looks nice and sleek, but I'm a fan of the 360 era, and I've never been a Forza guy, so I didn't really have a reason to get it. I like my racers to be a little more arcadey and chaotic and random. So I remember wanting it back then, but I stopped myself because I was like, why? What would I use it for? So I don't think there was any games that sold me on the 360. But if there was even a single racing game,
I mean, in my opinion, best racing game is on PS2. Midnight Club 3.
Oh, Midnight Club 3 is awesome. That is a rare, realistic.
It's not really
racer.
realistic. It's actually still arcadey.
Hence my quotate. Well, maybe I froze, but hence my quotations, realistic-ish, because usually my racing is like Crash Team Racing or something. So, yeah.
I mean, if that thing is almost Crash Team Racing with you being able to go on top of rooftops and
with
the special abilities for each class.
Yeah, that's true. So I wanted a reason to get that 360 wheel, and it does look nice and sleek. And so maybe I'll get my hands on it one day, like via used in some grandma's basement or something. I can give it a shot finally.
So you could use it on just like the guitar controller. You could use it to play any game.
And that is so tempting.
If you wanted to use it for Need for Speed or whatever sort of kart racer
Halo.
there was, you could. Any other sort of game you could use as well. You're probably not going to have a good time, but if you wanted to try to use it to play Halo, you could if you wanted.
You know what? If I got one kill in Halo in a Halo custom and a social match with the wheel, I'd be happy.
Oh, you definitely.
That would be hilarious. Because there definitely are those people out there that play games with special controllers that are not meant for those types of games. So
yeah, look at the DK bongos being used to beat Dark Souls.
Yeah. Or I saw someone, I swear I saw a video way back during the 360 era of someone using the Rock Band drums to beat one of the raids on Destiny.
By the way, YouTube, this is Coke, not anything else.
So, and Carl's hopping in chat saying hi, boys. Good evening, Carl. Hope you and your mom are doing well. So, all right. So that is number 5's. So,
we got the Segas, we got the wheels, and we got the Guitar Heroes. What will come up next?
All right. Dude, why don't you kick us off with number 4?
I think I'll go with my number 4 and that'll be I do like the PS5 controller. It is actually.
Is that the DualShock 3?
DualSense.
DualSense.
It's the first time I think it's the first time they actually decided to kick off the DualShock name.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
So
but in my opinion, every time they've upgraded consoles, it feels like they've always upgraded the controller. It's always felt like an upgrade. Like the PS1, the PS2. I mean, technically, they already had the analog 6 on PS1, but they pretty much made it standard on the PS2. And then they also put Rumble in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember if the PS1 had L1 and R1 buttons or L3 R3 buttons.
Oh.
They had they didn't call them at the time, but
click?
Yeah, they didn't call them at the time, but they did have it.
Just not many games use it.
Yeah. But I will say though, out of the PlayStation thing, I will say it wasn't the DualShock because they didn't have it. Their what was the PlayStation 3's controller before?
6-axis.
Thank you. I would say the 6-axis was kind of a not great.
Yeah, but that was mainly because of a copyright issue or something like that, and they eventually fixed it. And the DualSense 3 came out with the Rumble and all that. So.
Oh yeah, I was originally not going to launch with Rumble.
I think the biggest problem though, going back to the PS3, is it always feels like the PS3 controllers are like toys.
They are extremely light. Yeah.
So, anytime I'm playing like any PlayStation game on my PC, I'm using a PS5 controller.
Okay.
I hate plugging the DualSense into a computer because then it messes with all your audio settings and it messes with this, it messes with that.
It did that for a bit for me, but it doesn't do it anymore now.
Yeah, no. Every time you plug it in,
at least on Linux.
Yeah, no. If you plug it into Windows, it's then like, oh, it's got a mic and a headset or a mic and a speaker in there. We're changing everything.
Yep.
And
also, one thing I really like about on Linux, it uses this as an actual like mouse touchpad on Linux by default. So
it
does the same thing for PS4, but the main reason why I don't use the PS4 controller on PC is because it uses the micro USB port, and that thing has a hard time staying plugged in. Since this is USB-C, it's way better to stay plugged in.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
sorry.
I said I like the controller, but I don't like it's too wide. like I don't know what's in the hand. Like for me, it just feels like I don't know. When we get
It feels
to
fine
later
for me.
down, yeah, when we get later on, I'll explain. But
But I mean,
but
it's
yeah,
not.
no, it's not terrible. But
perfect.
yeah,
I mean, my hands do sometimes get a little numb while using this controller, depending on the game. But like the haptic, the feedback from the L2 and R2 buttons. In some games, I think it's great, but in other games, I'm like, I need to turn this off before I break them.
yeah.
I
Like
have
God
a
of
friend
War
that-
was fine in because it didn't constantly use it throughout the combat. It mainly used it whenever you're like chopping down a tree to get out of the way. And then for Astrobot, I would do a similar thing. But when I was playing Warframe on PS5, every time you were using a bow, which was constantly, I was like, okay, I'm gonna break the controller if I can keep on pressing it like this.
Yeah, I've never held it, so I don't know. But James, it sounded like you had some input on this.
Yeah, the controller is excellent, but yeah, there's definitely I have issues with it. Kay loves it, as you can see in chat there. She's saying based PS5 controller. I absolutely hate the adaptive, whatever you call them, triggers. I hate that. Thank God it's optional because I would
Yeah.
not touch the controller if it wasn't. If it wasn't optional, I absolutely hate that feature. It feels like I'm pushing my hand through weird little thin sandbags or something. But the controller, apart from that, is great. And it's actually the only time where for a shooter I have preferred using it over an Xbox controller because I always
And
go
and it
for
even has the motion control where you can even change control to not be the right stick on certain games.
oh yeah.
I know
But,
that I know Switch does that too. So where you
Oh,
can
does
move the controller to change to do your aiming, because I think a lot of people on Splatoon use that.
Oh yes, the
With gyro
Splatoon.
aiming.
Yes. Oh my god, that's
Oh,
one of the reasons I
interesting.
never got into Splatoon. But yes, you're right. But for me, I always go like Xbox is usually for shooters, and then PlayStation is for anything that requires D-pad and functional stuff like that. But one I've been using for Marvel Rivals, the Series X controller, and then it started to break for me, the Series X controller. And so I was like, okay, in the meantime, I'll start using a PS5 controller because I'm playing it on PC anyway. And oh my God, it is so much better, that PS5 controller, because of it has this weird, unique vibration that I just wasn't getting with the Series X controller, where it completely feels like a different game, where it's like just every character's like feet have a different, like as they're walking, you can feel all their footsteps. And like if it's a girl character, it's a lighter vibration compared to the Hulk that's like a thud thud thud. And so it's like, oh my god, I know how I'm moving just based on like the feeling of them walking, and that's crazy. So it's the only time, especially in a PvP game, where I'm like, not only am I not using mouse and keyboard, but I'm actually using a PlayStation controller over an Xbox controller. So
Also, like
that is
unlike
damn
unlike a
impressive.
later controller, when I plug this into my Linux computer,
Yeah.
it does actually work with Rumble, even on emulator, because I'm playing
Oh,
PS2
nice.
games with it. And when a PS2 game would cause the rumble, I actually feel the rumble in the PS5 controller.
Nice.
So that is nice.
I will second what Jason said though. On Windows, it gets screwy with the microphone.
Mhm.
So I really only use it when I'm swapping over to Marvel Rivals, or if I'm playing Miles Morales or something that is PlayStation specific. But yeah, it's so it's great. But yeah, if you use it on Windows like I primarily do, be prepared for some trouble, because it's like, this is a microphone. No, it's a headset. No, it's a controller. And it's like, please just figure it out. Just, oh my God. Steam's pretty good. Steam's pretty good
Apparently,
with it. Like,
Linux has figured it out better than Windows has.
yeah, it's.
But then
it's
again,
really...
I think PlayStation actually uses Linux operating system.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
under the hood.
Steam is really good with it. Like it will tell you if it's like, oh, you should use an Xbox controller instead. Or some games will be like, you're on PlayStation. This game knows what PlayStation is. You're good to go. And I love that feature. That is awesome. But yeah, as usual, Microsoft is a little bit busted. Or maybe they just don't want to support. Maybe they're sabotaging the competition. I don't know. But it is more or less, it is a pretty damn good controller. I agree.
All right. Paul saying he agrees with you. He says the haptic feedback is terrible.
Yeah,
so, I've never held that controller, so I don't know.
I want to say I have a friend that's a huge Sony pony. He all he does is play on PlayStation, Trophy Hunter, all this stuff. He's broken, last I checked, and this was about a year or two ago, he's broken 5 PS5 controllers, and he solely blames the haptic feedbacks on the trigger.
Okay. Not like
And-
out of anger or anything, just from standard.
He is an angry guy, but he would have told me if he's like, yeah, and this one I snapped in half, and this one I threw against the wall. No, it was the triggers breaking because he wanted to platinum Tony Hawk 1+2,
Okay.
and the grind fights against you. As
Oh.
You should
your-
have just turned it off.
Yeah, but he is such a Sony fan that he is like, it's a Sony feature. So I am not going to turn it off, and I am instead going to spend $100 every time my controller breaks. Like-
Meanwhile, me, I broke like 3 or 4 LB buttons, and that's what drove me to get the series.
Is that the
Elite
core?
controller. This is the yeah.
The core. Okay.
Because I mean, this controller itself is not on mine, but an Xbox controller is. But let's just say that the LB buttons on Xbox original Xbox One, the original release, those LB buttons are just have a very thin piece of plastic keeping it in place.
Yeah.
And with how often you press the LB button, Paul will know this in Warframe because of the bullet jumping. I broke those controllers. I broke those controllers in like 2 weeks each.
Well, this is my This is one of the reasons I swapped on.
But that's the reason why I have the Elite controllers, so I can actually have this
map them to a
button
paddle.
as the LB button. So
Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
even use
man.
the LB and RB buttons because they break too easily.
Well, the thing on the Series X controller is Xbox should all be about the triggers, especially that right trigger for shooters. And I learned the hard way that the Series X triggers suck. And I kept breaking them, or not, rather, it was sticky. Like I was getting really excited
Huh.
about using an Xbox controller. And I had to look it up because I kept having this problem where they would stick and hold in. And it turns out, you hear how you hear nothing? There's nothing. What they put in is a little tiny pad. A little pad on the interior. I read a whole thread on it. It was crazy. On the interior of the Series X controller so that it doesn't sound like click, 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 and you're like hitting plastic on plastic. The thing is, over use, that pad, because there's just a little bit of glue back there, slides down, and then there is no pad there, and it's just glue. And so your trigger gets stuck against the glue. And it's like, I don't
Oh.
care if my controller is loud. I want it functional. So now when I'm on PC and I'm using a controller that requires shooting or anything for right trigger, I'm using PlayStation, which feels like heresy. So anyway,
The Elite controller I don't think has that because I haven't had that problem.
I've used a lot of Xbox controllers and I've not had that problem.
Yeah.
I've had it happen twice, and I found a whole thread on people being like, I just bought
Interesting.
another one, and then it happened again. And they opened it up, and they could see the little pad. I just want to scrape it. I just want to open mine up and
Yeah.
scrape off the glue. It's ridiculous.
So, I mean, I guess this would be perfect time for me to go into my number 4. Sorry to go on nothing. This is my number 4. The
That-
Elite series.
The Elite Core, because that's
the-
not.
Well, it is the Elite one because it's got the case with the charging station in it and everything. So, the core doesn't have these guys. You have to buy them separately. So the core and the Elite, they're the same controller pretty much.
My Series 2 eventually had issues with the control sticks again because eventually they will drift.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I got the cores because I already had all the pieces that came with the Elite 2.
But yeah, I mean, the reason why like this doesn't have that issue with the triggers and everything is because it's got the stuff in the back where you can make it go down all the way if you want to, or if you want to, you can do the hair triggers and everything like that. So it makes it a little bit louder. But yeah, so I've
never liked that about the controller because it just feels like I'm trying to break it when I'm using it.
Oh yeah, no, I've always had mine on top, so like
Yeah,
the
I
no
always
give is totally fine for me.
I prefer the full press.
Oh yeah, see not me. This is good enough for me.
It depends on what game I'm playing.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the only thing that is bad about the controller is it's an Xbox controller. And the heft. I'm not a big Xbox guy, and I hate this part.
I should have had the Duke controller near me.
Yeah, but I hate offsense. But like this controller is so good that I had to put on my list because I can't deny on how well this controller is made.
You don't like the offset joysticks.
I hate offset joysticks. I hate them.
Interesting.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
I just wish that
I love
I just
it.
wish that they would go to the Hall effects on the next Elite controller.
Yeah, but I mean that's why like this controller is so good and it made my list is because I can look past all that stuff because of how well this is made. The only thing that sucks is how fragile these things can be. I've
especially
worked.
for how expensive they are.
Yeah. I've obviously had to replace a lot of these because of jobs and everything. Like these literally can fall a foot from you, and you have to pray to the gods that it falls flat or not like this or this, because this thing will just explode. And I've seen it happen. Like this thing is packed with so much stuff that if this fell off my desk right now, I would be like, cool, I'm gonna have to get a new controller because I don't know if this thing's
Somehow
gonna survive.
mine survived me slamming it on the couch next to me.
You're a lucky one because
The worst thing I have to do is go find the thumbsticks because they go flying off.
yeah, no, like that's part of it. But yeah, like there's like a pressure point somewhere in here that literally, if it hits, like it's just splitting.
Careful
breaking.
now.
I know, right? I was scared that I was doing that. Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to demo it for us, Jason.
I'm putting it away now. Yep. But no, the case is fantastic. So I mean, I love the case. And then like charging it with that, how everything is, if you want to have the magnetic charging station, just stick in your case so it's charging while it's being saved. So if it does fall, you're not screwed. But yeah, I mean, for all the flaws that I have when it comes to controllers, just this controller alone makes me look past it. And I think if that's the case, then I think that makes for a good controller.
Yeah, and I'll second what you're saying. This controller, it's like I would say it's like the most controversial controller that like in the modern day, because there's people that stand by it, they love it, they ride or die it, and they say it's the best controller ever. And then at the same time, everyone's like it breaks. Like if you just look at it funny, Amazon recently, and I think it's because of an automated system, they've had to put a check in there to be like, hey, warning, a lot of people are returning this. Yep. And it's just like, we're not saying if it's valid or not, but hey, maybe you should look at the reviews before you buy this. And so it is very much an elite controller because it's like you are paying a lot and it could break, and so you're gonna have the best experience of your life with a controller, but for how long? So with my experience just with their base ones, as I was just complaining about, I'm not giving more money to it, but I can definitely see the appeal. And I'm the opposite of you, and I think I'm with Neo. I prefer the offset of the analog, mainly for shooters. Because, and again, that's why I'm so shocked that I'm using a PlayStation for Marvel Rivals now, is because when I'm playing a shooter, I just like my thumb to be up here and not here. And it might be because big hands and I feel like a T-Rex, but I like it to be like up instead of like there.
See, I mean,
I can live with either way.
Yeah, I have huge hands too, and I like everything being parallel.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because my hands are gigantic. And everything just being here and then here, and then if I need to, I got buttons there or anything like that. But yeah, no, like I hate having, like, if I'm like this, I want everything to be parallel. Like
right. Everything's got to be symmetrical. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
for sure. I think maybe Halo just changed me. Halo in 2001. Yeah,
I was weird during that era because during those 4 major Call of Duties, I switched back and forth between or a couple of Call of Duties. I switched back and forth between which console I got them for. Because on Call of Duty 4, I got Xbox. Then World at War, I got PS3. Then Modern Warfare 2, I got Xbox again. And then Black Ops and Black Ops 2, I got PS3. I didn't get Modern Warfare 3 until like later, because I just preferred Black Ops over anything Modern Warfare did.
Yeah, you play a lot of games like us. I think you can adapt to kind of any controller.
Yeah,
but when it comes down to preference, that's a different ball game.
I think in both versions of Black Ops 1, I had over a 2.0 kill death ratio.
Nice.
So
I had a 1.5 in Black Ops 2, and I played primarily hardcore. That's the one where you just look in the wrong direction and you get shot and you get dead instantly.
Oh, I think I rented that. All I remember is the memes like Call of Duty, Black Ops 2, but I never played.
Black Ops 2 is the best Call of Duty, though.
I heard. Yeah, I skipped it, but
it has more endings than Mass Effect 3. It has 4.
Got 2? Oh, okay.
There's technically 5 in Mass Effect 3.
I'm talking about on release date.
Okay, fair enough.
They had to release an update for that. Call of Duty never released an update for its campaign outside of a couple of bug fixes.
So, D-Day Direwolf was hopping in chat saying sup, guys. What's up, D-Day Direwolf? Good to see you. And October Mike says, speaking of Xbox controller, I just got the limited edition Doom Dark Ages controller. Both of those look freaking awesome. If I didn't already have a Series 2, I would totally buy the Series 2. My one complaint is that on the Doom Dark Ages Series 2, the buttons are just a standard ABXY, but on the standard one, not the Elite, they instead of ABXY, you have the the Doom runes as those buttons instead, which look freaking
It should have been
dope.
the more expensive one that had that.
Exactly. Those runes should also be on the Elite.
Although
the
you could just
Doom
buy
Elite
both of them and switch
controller.
the buttons yourself.
No, because those buttons you can't swap. You'd have to take the controller apart.
Yes, I'm saying you could do
Oh,
that.
Well, you say you only software mod and not hardware mod, so that would be a hardware mod. So,
Not that crazy of a mod.
but yeah, those runes on the buttons rather than ABXY look awesome.
I'm still waiting for a Series 3 to finally have the Hall effects sticks, so I don't have to worry
you
about
mentioned
stick
that.
drift anymore.
What does that mean?
It uses magnets instead of the whatever the
What do they
pectometer
currently
is.
use? Oh, okay.
It's generally seen as more durable analog sticks that will not have stick drift, and so the Switch 2 is
It's
getting
like
a lot
it'll be hundreds of
apprehension.
years before you get stick drift.
Yeah,
So you-
it'll happen,
that
but
would
it's
be
just
nice.
less.
Yeah, and so on the Switch 2, they're getting a lot of worry because the Switch 1, the Joy-Cons are known for drift. They drift like that, and they already confirmed that they're not having the Hall sticks, and it's like, well, enjoy stick drift 2 on the Switch 2 again.
I'll just get the Pro controller like everyone else, like you're supposed to.
I'm
I
assuming
hate
that your Switch
Joy-Cons.
1 Pro controllers will work with the Switch 2.
Yes, they
Yeah.
will. And I don't
Okay.
even like the Switch 2 Pro controller. I might skip it and just stick with my Pro 1 or whatever it's called. Because
Yeah.
I am not a fan of back buttons, so I might just skip it.
I will be talking
entirely.
about that sometime tonight.
Ooh.
Well, if you noticed on my Elite controller, you notice I only have 2 of them on.
Yeah, because that one only comes with 2.
No,
You
I
have to
could put the other 2 because I have the other 2. I just
Right.
choose not
Oh,
to because
out of the box. it only
of the
comes
way
with
my
2.
hand sits and how I'd have to have my ring fingers to use them. It actually makes my hands go numb. So I just take them off and just use the 2.
So October Mike was correct. He's saying those runes on the standard Doom controller. That's the Sentinel language. Thank you. I did not know that. So he says that's the language key that the Doom Slayer uses on his triple keyboard in Eternal. Okay. So thank you for that. Winky says, why can't we super chat? Because I'm not monetized, so I don't have the ability to super
You
chat.
can
But
always-
I do have a donation link pinned in my YouTube
Or
chat.
you can give
if
them money
would
on
like
Rumble.
to. Yeah. If you feel so inclined.
Yeah.
So
Same on my channel because I think he's in my chat too. So yeah, we're not monetized yet. We're hopefully more people show up. We can do that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you are enjoying what you love, and we do have stuff in our profiles that if you're not inclined, but yeah, enjoy the show.
So, Canadian says the Switch Pro controllers drift too.
They
do.
eventually do.
Okay.
The only Switch product that I know that has Hall effects ones is that little device that I have for mine, that you just put your Switch into it and it just becomes more of a tap, like a controller like that, which I think is awesome. But yeah, that's the only thing that I know. Yeah, exactly. That's the only thing that I know that really had is Hall effects, and it works great, and hopefully eventually everything just goes that way. Or again, third-party controllers now aren't as bad as they used to be. So
Nightmare is here saying, "What's up, Nightmare? Good to see you." He's hopping in, saying, "Popping in and out." You see the Doom Dark Ages controller? We literally just talked about that like 30 seconds ago. But yes, they look awesome. I do want to get the Series X Doom console wrap. That thing looks really freaking cool. So I looked it up the other day. It's almost $60 though. I'm like, yeesh. So, yes, that is correct. James, Melee games are monetized, so you could super chat them. But
I have no idea why or how, but yeah.
Nightmares. I pre-ordered one because I couldn't resist, and now I hate myself. If I didn't have perfectly working controllers, I would probably get at least.
I have
one
pre-ordered
of them. They look awesome.
Dark Ages, the collector's edition.
I may well do that at some point. Not
I wanted that statue
after it's come out, because that thing looks awesome.
I will be ranting and making enemies during my number 3 talk about this. So there we go. Just a little bit.
Right.
There's a little segue there when it happens.
All right. Well, I'll go with my number 4, and then James can finish off our number 4. So for me, another gimmick controller, if you want to call it that.
Woo!
So this is the reason why the Explorer got put in my honorable mentions and not in my top 5, because it almost made it. But another one that's quite large, and I don't even think I could fit it in here right now. But I freaking love this thing.
Is it the drums?
It is, but better than that. Let's see your tab.
I was tempted to put in drums.
It's the
but they
bongo
broke-
controller, isn't it?
No.
Whoa! Donkey Kong.
The
Oh,
Ion Drum Rocker. I bought this thing like 15 years ago, and thinking about my list, I was like, you know what? I haven't used it in about a year. So I pulled it out and I played some more Rock Band this afternoon, and I freaking love this thing. I have all the cymbals, the metal pedal, because I've gone through so many drum sets from Rock Band.
Yeah.
I've probably broken 4 or 5 of the foot pedals because they're just cheap plastic. I even got this metal plate to screw onto it, and it lasted longer, but it still snapped. It wasn't until I got the Ion Drum Rocker that has the I don't. Oh, you can't see my mouse. Okay, cool. So I don't know why this pedal's here. That is like an actual electronic drum kit pedal. That is not the one that comes with it. This one right here is the one that actually comes with it. But the entire thing is metal, and it works great. I love this thing. This is the 360 brain. You could actually take this out and swap it with an actual electronic drum brain, and you could play electronic drums with this thing.
And if you get the converter box, you can play it on Rock Band 4 on Xbox One.
That is true. You can get a converter, so you're not actually even using the console's brain. You're using an actual electronic drum brain. It converts it. I wanted to do that. I never did, so I just have this one. But I freaking love this thing, and it has lasted a very long time. And I had to play. I pulled it out today and played a little bit today because it's just been too long. And I love this thing so much, and it still works great. And I've never had to replace anything. Some of the padding on the cymbals, especially the yellow cymbal, because you're hitting it so much, there's a padding right here so that you're not hitting plastic. It's more softened. It's got like a felt on it. So that has kind of worn off, and like the edge here is kind of separated a little bit, but it has no effect on the actual like registering of it, and it works.
I'm pretty sure
great.
you can find a replacement if you needed to.
Yeah, you definitely could. The cymbal plastic itself would probably be pretty cheap if you needed to replace it. But even with the hundreds of hours I've probably played this thing, all the cymbals, much less the yellow cymbal, still works great. And this thing, the build quality is great. It's very adjustable. Like the other controllers, you could use it to play any 360 game you want.
Damn straight.
You're probably not going to have a great time, but it works, and it is great, and I love it. And the drums are my favorite instrument, and I love the Rock Band games and playing the pro drums. So yeah, that is my number 4. So
I am jealous because I've only used the Rock Band 1 ones really, and
I've used the Rock Band 2 ones, but not the Rock
yeah,
Band 3.
I used briefly one of the Guitar Hero ones that added the cymbals at the top.
World Tour drum set had 3 pads and 2 cymbals.
I think
Yeah,
that was
those
one.
look weird.
Has 4 pads and 2 cymbals, and those ones, the cymbals were like built into it. It wasn't like an attachment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and same issues as you. The kick pedal just breaks so easily. I had a friend drunkenly think it was like a real drum kit, and he broke it, and I was livid. We had to search on like Craigslist forever to find a replacement. I've always wanted to use Guitar Hero Metallica, which is probably my most played Guitar Hero or Rock Band game, just because of the songs in it and the knowledge in it. It actually has the feature of being able to use a double kick pedal. This is the metal one, so you get to use double kick pedal. I've always been curious to.
I have the box that allows you to do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When
sadly, my Rock Band drums, they have battery corrosion, so they don't work anymore.
No.
I'm pretty sure there's a way to fix it, but still sucks.
When I had BD Jake on for open mic, probably about a year ago, we talked about Rock Band for probably over an hour. We went into autistic detail about this because I always wanted to get a second drum pedal for the really fast-paced songs that have lots of bass pedal. And what I found from doing research is you can get an adapter and hook up a second pedal, but because of the way it works, you can only have one of them pressed at a time. And if you have one of them, the other one won't register, which is a real problem because normally when you're not pressing one, you don't actually have your foot like hovering above it. When you're not using it, you're pushing it down. And then when you need to use it, you go up and down real quick. You don't just hover over it. Otherwise your foot's going to be like really tired from holding your ankle up the whole time. So when you're not pushing it, you keep it pressed down from the last time you hit it, and then you release it and push it again. So if you keep it pressed down, then you're trying to use the other one won't work, which is a bit of a problem. So it works in air quotes, but I think that has more to do with the actual like adapter and not the actual drum kit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I've always
I
wanted to try it in
get the
that
double
Guitar
bass.
Hero Metallica where it's like officially supported, but I respect adding in drums. I was tempted to add in drums, but my primary, like whenever I was playing Rock Band, it was always like I was the one singing, and if I wasn't the one singing, I was playing guitar because people love the drums, and there was always going to be somebody on the drums. I'm sure if Kay came on the show today, she would have added drums in her top 5. Because she has made people mad with how loud she is playing Rock Band drums, and it's great. It's so much fun. And
I was always
I
the
love it.
guitar guy.
Nice.
Same.
That was my secondary, apart from annoying everybody with my.
I think the
horrible
only time I ever
voice.
did the mic was whenever it was Guitar Hero Metallica, because you could actually put the mic on beginner and it was just more karaoke.
Oh yeah, and
then-
the mic has always sucked. I just like drunk singing, but
That's why I liked. That's why I liked about the Guitar Hero games that they made a mode where where it was just karaoke. Just
Yeah.
make a sound whenever the words were there, and you get points.
It's always annoyed me how they handle singing because it's like to match it, you're supposed to like mimic the song, but that's not how singing works. You're not supposed to just mimic how that singer sounds, or else you're gonna like throw out your voice if you try too hard to do that. You're supposed to sing in your own natural voice. So yeah, I always do it on easy, and I'm like, let me sing how I wish, darn it. And so,
And then
but
Guitar Hero
anyway,
made a beginner mode where it didn't even care.
good.
If you even
Uh,
missed things, it wouldn't even say anything.
These
You couldn't-
games are for
It wouldn't
fun
fail. It
parties
wouldn't
and
fail
drunk
the
people.
band if the singer was messing up on beginner.
Yeah, but the drums are like, it's crazy because this is the first instrument. I remember harmonics like shilling this like crazy. This is the first instrument where it's like you can actually, this is drums. You are playing the drums. That's super impressive. You can't learn
Yeah,
how to play guitar playing Guitar Hero, but you can learn how to play drums playing Rock
You
Band.
can at least get some of the help, but it's not all the way there
Right.
for the
yeah.
guitar.
Yeah.
The guitar.
With drum,
so
it's all the way there.
Mhm.
Although
mostly.
there was a MIDI controller that for Rock Band 3 that tried to mimic the real guitar.
I've always been curious on Rocksmith, but I've never
Yeah.
played. Have any of you guys played Rocksmith? That's
have
the
not.
Yo, Jason, you have? Is it good? Does it live up
Yeah,
to
it's. I mean, it's really. It's not a game in my opinion. It's more of a training aid, but it's. I mean, it does what it's supposed to do. Like if you're trying to learn how to play guitar, and you're trying to find a way to not. I don't want to say like be like slow progression, but like hey, I want to learn to cover this song, and you want to like learn that way. It's really really good. But it doesn't like teach you how to play an instrument in a way, in my opinion. But like it teaches you how to.
Okay.
Like I'm trying to explain. It's like it's an easy way to like, hey, I want to learn how to play a guitar, but I want to know like results quicker. Do this, and then if you're like, oh, cool, I like this. I want to learn more. Then you do stuff outside of it. Then you can easily become a pretty decent at it. But it's not something that like it's not more of a game to me. It's more like, hey, I need to play this game to practice.
Okay.
That's how I look at it.
Okay, no, it's good to know. I've been forever curious about it.
So Night Saber is here saying, "What's up, Neo and crew? What's up, Night Saber? Good to see you again." And I think Winky Winky Woo was like spazzing out about these, saying it's not real. It's not a real instrument. No, I know it's not a real instrument. It's a controller designed for Xbox, but you can swap out the brain to play electronic drums. So
We just want to believe Winky Wanky. I agree
um,
with him though, saying it's something to mess around with when I'm drunk, and it's like, yeah, that's,
Drummers have.
that's
I
why
think
we
there
love
are
it.
actual drummers that have actually said that the Rock Band drum set's actually pretty good.
Oh yeah,
So-
yeah. They've said
yeah,
it's great.
playing pro drums on Rock Band 3 is the closest thing to out of like all the instruments in it. It's the closest thing to like the real one. Obviously, there are still some differences. I don't know because I've never actually played real.
The main
drums.
difference is it doesn't have as many drums as most
Right,
drum sets
but,
have. That's just because
um,
they're trying not to confuse the normal people.
But when I was talking to BD Jake on open mic, who does play drums, he was telling me about some of the techniques that you wouldn't be able to do on this that you can do as with actual drums. So it's pretty close. Obviously, playing these Rock Band guitars we were talking about is nothing like playing an actual guitar, but playing this is very similar to playing an actual drum kit. However,
if you can play on medium difficulty on the drums, you will be a much better drummer than Lars Ulrich.
however, they did release a pro guitar for Rock Band 3, which I don't have it. I always wanted to, but right here, instead of having a little clicker pedal thing, it does have 6 strings. You have to strum the right one. And then on each neck or on each fret of the neck has 6 buttons. So it's got like 130 buttons or something on each one. And so you can actually learn, where your finger placement goes by, putting it on the right string, which is actually a button on the right fret. However, that was just for this, but Rocksmith, you use an actual guitar to play. So that's like the big difference.
Right.
So, yeah. He says, he's saying, I hate drums. This isn't a drum set. It's electronic shite. It works as a drum.
Isn't there a channel where the guy uses those rubber ducks to make music?
Oh, there's a bunch of them.
I'm sure.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
Talking about Melee K.
Okay, so now I want to smash some drums with duck sounds. Looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, then it must be a drum kit. It can function as one well enough. So that is my number 4. So, oh, and 97%, they're like a low-end Roland. The brain could make the 3rd gen set really good. Cool. Yeah, I don't know anything about like actual instruments. Just from
I'm
what
not
I've
smart
heard from
enough for
other
that.
people.
Yeah.
So, oh well, he says he's a studio sound engineer, so I totally get where he can get super autistic about these sorts of things. So I get it now. So, all right, James, what about you? What is your number 4?
Okay, we're getting into the ones where I'm like, man, is this my number 4? Is it my number 3, my number 2, or my number 1? This could really rank anywhere because this one is so darn unique. I first experienced this controller when I went over to a friend's house and played a game on it for the first time, and I immediately went out and bought the console just for this controller. More than any controller, this controller is crucial and important as it changes all the games on the console. I'm, of course, talking about my beloved, often hated and confused for the elderly. I'm talking about the Wii U gamepad at number 4. And the reason
I got mine.
why... Oh, let's go.
Never
And
seen one in person.
What?
Well, now you're seeing
you
2 on
missed
stream.
out. There you go. And
By the way, my Wii
reason-
U is hacked, so I can do a bunch of stuff with it.
Smart man. So the reason why this is in my top 5 is actually, this is unique because it's not because of the controller feeling good. You're going to hear a lot about the grips and the triggers and analog and all this stuff. None of that. It's because of how you played the games on this. And that's what I love
To be perfectly
so
honest, I
much.
never had a problem with the controller. It's just that
It's
because it
fine.
didn't have achievements, but I just didn't play it enough.
Yeah, if you want to talk about the controller itself, it's mostly fine. It's mostly serviceable. It feels a little weird. I beat Bayonetta 2 with it, and that was very awkward. If you're gonna play something that's like intense, it doesn't feel right. I played Splatoon 1 with it, and I'm like, what's going on? Because it does feel like you're just kind of throwing an iPad around or something. But for the games it was made for and what the system was made for, I love this thing. So I went to a friend's house. He had a Wii U first, and I fell in love because he had Nintendo Land. And I played the Luigi's Mansion minigame on Nintendo Land. And this unlocked the potential of 5-player games for me. And when
I want to see a Mario Party try to bring back the Bowser versus the 4 players again.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, that's the thing is there's
if they did it in an actual good Mario Party, it would probably be fun.
I'm really hoping that the Switch 2, because it's got a top USB port, that they're lying and they actually allow there to be a second monitor. But we'll see. Because I love dual screen gaming, and before the 3DS, and I never liked the DS because I'm left-handed. But before the 3DS, this is the system that turned me on to dual screen gaming. So again, Luigi's Mansion. It's the mini game was 4 players are Luigi clones. They have the flashlight, and the ghost is the 5th player. And it's the first time where I'm like, we're all playing a game locally at my friend's house to try the Wii U because he just got it on launch or something. I'm the ghost. I'm player 5, and they cannot see me. It's all real time. It's all live action, and they are all.
It's like
on their
with
screen.
it's like what they tried to do on the GameCube with the three with the
Game
GBA
Boy.
controller and Pac-Man versus.
Oh, did they experiment? Okay, see, I'm a baby when it comes to the game.
Yeah, because
interesting.
on that game, the GBA player was Pac-Man, and he was playing he was playing like a normal Pac-Man game, but the
Right.
other 3 players were the ghosts, and they can only see like a small section near them on the on the
okay.
TV.
Okay. So yeah, with this one, the ghost, I could be the ghost player, and I was off in the corner, and it's like no one knows where I am. I see where they all are. They don't see where I am, and I was hooked. I immediately ran out, got myself a Wii U, and I thought this was the future. This was the system that turned me into a Nintendo fan. I was already disillusioned with Xbox thanks to Don Matrick and the NXE and Family and Connect and all that garbage. You're not going to see a Connect in my top 5, let me tell you. And this, I swapped teams. I tried dabbling in PlayStation. David Jaffe let me down over there. I got a PlayStation for Twisted Metal, and that was a disappointment. I go over to the old Bing Bing Wahoo. I go over to Nintendo, and I play the 5-player games. I play the games that have this screen enabled and actually does things with it, and I am hooked. I'm a full-on believer. That's right, Angry Canadian. I am a believer, and it let me down. I was so depressed when I played, I think it was Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze for the first time on the Wii U, and it was already seeming like, look, third party was not latching onto this. There was no Ubisoft games that, apart from Zombie U, that used the touchscreen. EA wasn't doing anything with it. And when I played Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze and all there was on the gamepad was a black screen, I'm like, it's over. The Wii U is over. But for the games,
At least Tropical Freeze was a great game.
It is, but I was disappointed that that was the sign of the times that my boy had failed. We had lost the Civil War.
One cool thing that even Call of Duty did something pretty cool with it was of course the launch title for the Wii U for Call of Duty was Black Ops 2. So it had the futuristic thing. Well, when you pulled up kill streaks, your character would actually in game pull up a tablet on the other consoles.
Oh, great.
On the Wii U version, it would just go on your tablet controller, and you'd have to use the controller like the character was doing in the other games. But you were actually using it as a tablet controller.
There is so much cool stuff and so much innovation on this amazing, lovely console. And
when even Activision can do something with it is actually pretty cool.
Right. And so it's really the console that is getting my number 4 spot. The only reason that this isn't higher, I don't know, it could really be my number 1, is that as a controller, it's not amazing. I wouldn't, if this was just a black screen like I found with Tropical Freeze, there's nothing spectacular about this controller, and it's a little bulky and a little weird to use. But for the games that actually properly utilize this controller as God intended, it was brilliant.
I mean, I was going to say something else similar to what Kay just said, that it made Wind Waker better. The fact that Wind Waker needed a controller like this to make it better is the reason why it's lower than Twilight Princess.
Yeah, and like there's countless games. I was blown away when I played Rayman Legends, and that had a 5th player, and so 4-player co-op, and it's a great platformer. But the 5th player can make new platforms, and so I just remember playing a level where everyone's running like Indiana Jones style from a boulder, and you can cut down trees so they can swing on it, and you can add logs and be like, go over here, and it's like, this is so cool, this is so great. And
I think I think that New Super Mario Brothers did something similar with the platforms.
Right.
If I had done it, I would have done it as a 5th player would be just trying to troll the other 4 players.
Oh no, and the trolling was glorious. It was so glorious. So I love the Wii U, and if it wasn't for the Switch library, the Wii U would be my favorite Nintendo console of all time. And it's all because of this lovely, amazing controller that is only.
I would have played my Wii U more if they actually had an achievement system on it.
I would have played it less.
There were a lot of good. There's just a lot of good games on it. What's crazy is that during that era, there were a lot of Wii U games that actually had achievements in the game. Like even Bayonetta 2 had the achievements in game. It's just that they didn't do it in a way that actually went on your profile.
Mm-hmm.
If they had done it in a way that it could go on your profile, I would have played more Wii U.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would have definitely been on the Wii U less, but I loved it, and yeah, it's great. It's such a great, absolute great controller for all the wrong reasons that you shouldn't love a controller. That's why it's number 4. But honestly, it could be 3, 2, or 1, or 5, or 10. Depends on the game, and I think that's such a cool, unique aspect of it.
Definitely. That's why
Neo, you're
muted. I had it next to me.
Oh, thank you. So when you were saying about Wind Waker, it makes it better. I'm assuming it functions as the Tingle Tuner. Is that right?
No, you can actually switch out which items you're using on the fly much easier.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it makes a couple of the dungeons actually way more manageable.
Nice.
And I think you can also instantly do songs with the pad as well.
Oh,
and
nice.
Because there were some dungeons in some places that you were constantly using the songs. And it kind of got old doing them over and over again.
Yeah, for sure. Angry Canadian says the Metroid minigame with 5 people is crazy too. What minigame was that? Was there
on Nintendo Land?
Oh, is that like in Japan? Nintendo Land sort of thing?
No, there's a bunch of
there's
games,
it's a game on the Wii U that was like a collection of mini games.
Oh, okay. I thought Nintendo Land was like what they opened in Japan. He went and visited recently. Okay, gotcha. Well, cool. Didn't realize that existed. And he says TPHD did a decent job utilizing it. I'm assuming he's talking about Twilight Princess HD.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure,
I've
yeah,
read it.
but it didn't require it as much as Wind Waker did.
Okay. Ooh, D-Day Darrow was talking about playing Warriors Orochi and Hyrule Warriors.
Yep.
Dude
Nice.
loves those.
Yeah, it
Um,
actually does have a copy. It does have the best Warriors Orochi on there, but it's not the best version of it because it doesn't have the ultimate version, which adds a couple more characters and more modes. But
okay.
Hyper was a director's cut because it added a couple characters itself. It's just that they were added into the ultimate versions as well.
Okay.
Although it would have been pretty cool if they had actually brought like Link in. That would have been pretty cool if they brought Link into the Warriors Orochi game, just because it was on Nintendo.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, with that, that'll bring us into our number 3s. So let's see here. I guess I'll go ahead and start this one off. This one may get a lot of hate because I know how much people dislike this. But I love motion controls.
No
and I had a
way.
lot of fun playing like Twilight Princess, and that was one of the cool things I really liked more so. Like Twilight Princess is my second favorite Zelda game. But the one thing I will give it, Skyward Sword, which I was not a huge fan over, is the motion controls because you actually have one-to-one control, which I really like. I've got.
Talking about Skyward Sword, you mean?
What did I say?
Twilight Princess.
Yeah, Skyward Sword has one-to-one, and Twilight Princess does not. So
yeah,
that's the one thing.
Twilight Princess just kind of just mimics a button press.
Right, you can just like kind of waggle it, and it swings. But with the Wii Motion Plus in like Skyward Sword, you can actually like move the sword around and stuff. So
I also have the Zapper.
I always wanted to get that. I never did, but I do have my nunchuck around here somewhere. But I like how versatile they were with this thing, and with the nunchuck, they could do a lot of things with it. And
I already showed my Wii Wheel.
Yeah, so I had a lot of fun with Wii, being more active and kind of being more engaged with a lot of the games. With the exception of one game, I would always use a GameCube controller, which I will talk about later. Yeah, Smash Brothers. But other than that, I had a lot of fun using the Wiimote for all of the the basic games like the Wii Sports. Had a lot of fun introducing my family. That was literally the first time that almost any of my family had ever played video games in their lives was because of this thing. Had a lot of good fun memories with that. And like Metroid Prime 3 was great. I was just talking to someone in chat. I want to say it was Christian Frades on Metroidvania Monday last night, because I never did play Metroid Trilogy, which adds the Metroid 3 motion controls into all 3 of the Metroid Prime games.
I would suggest if you do that, there's a mode where whenever you lock on, you don't have the free roam anymore. I would suggest turning that off, because those games were not designed with the cursor moving around while you're locked on.
Yeah, because in Prime 3, even though you're locked on, you can still aim around the target if you're not right.
But that game is designed with that in mind.
Right.
Those first 2 games are not.
Okay.
Because I think I have played through them once each on the Wii version.
But I am very much looking forward to playing the Wii trilogy once they get retro achievements eventually, because I want to play through them with motion controls, because I love the motion controls in a lot of the Wii games. So that was my number 3, the Wiimote and the nunchuck. But yeah, specifically with the Motion Plus, because before they built them in, you had a little attachment, which I didn't have any of those. This is the one and only Wii Motion Plus remote I have. But I really like this thing. And I know a lot of people hate it and don't like the motion controls, but I really like the motion controls a lot.
Just when it was done on a game that actually paid attention to them, it was actually good. It's just that there's so much shovelware on the Wii.
I knew Canadian was going to like it. He says, "Neo, you have redeemed yourself." And then right after that, D-Day Direwolf says, "No."
I'm only happy that it's on your list because you validated a point that I've always told people, that it's not called, like, I don't know where I've heard it or anything like that, but everybody says when I say it's called the Wiimote, people look at me like I'm crazy, because like, no, you're talking about the Wii remote, right? I'm like, no, it's called the Wiimote. But it doesn't say that on the controller anywhere.
No, yeah, it does. Technically, it's Wii remote, but why would you ever call it a Wii remote and not just call it a Wiimote? That's exactly the correct thing to call it.
That's just what I've always called it.
Switch is the correct title for the sequel to the Switch.
But the funny thing is, like, I'm hearing people say Wiimotes. I'm like, cool, I feel justified. And that's what I've always called it. But I'm like, where did I hear that from?
That's what it's supposed to be called.
Right.
So, October Mike said Nintendo Land in Japan. It's actually called Super Nintendo World. How is the Wiimote controversial? It's actually pretty fun. See, thank you, Mike. He agrees.
So I am firmly in the hatred camp of it.
Exactly.
I apologize. It honestly made me boycott the entire system. I didn't play any Wii games until I could get my hands on this stupid big thing right here. But yeah.
For me,
I
it was
hated
just
the
mainly
Wiimote so
it
much.
needed to be a good game, like Metroid Prime 3. Like it actually had to use the controls correctly. The
Mhm.
problem is that there's so much shovelware on that console that did not care how the controls worked.
There was
It
a
was-
lot of great games on that console, but I could not stand the Wiimote motion controls or not, and so I didn't discover them until later. So I was very much in the hating my parents for loving it camp, and it was I'm in the wrong clearly because the Wii sold 11 billion copies, and then my favorite sold like 2. I think Uncle Joe under the passage there under the bridge.
I could have swore it
bought Wii
hit
U.
10 million.
Oh, the Wii U.
Yeah, it's been a while
Oh,
since I've actually
maybe.
checked the numbers on that.
Maybe. So I'm from a bizarre
yeah, not
land
a
where
lot.
I love Nintendo when they are terrible, and I hate them when they're making money and printing money like crazy and resurrecting the dead with it.
Yeah. My favorite thing about the Wiimote is when you played NES games on it, you turned it sideways, and it was close enough to be an NES controller.
Oh, that's true. Other M actually plays it just like that. You play it with a sideways controller.
Yeah, I was right. According to Wikipedia, so take this with a grain of salt, but I'm pretty sure it at least
That's
sold
probably
this
pretty
much.
accurate.
13.56 million. So I was right. It
That's
sold
pretty close.
more. It sold more than the Vita, sadly.
Oh,
Although
I
the
know a lot
Vita
of
says 10 to 15 million, so it's only above
got a
the average of
range.
that.
okay. And Canadian also says the Prime trilogy on Wii is great. D8 Higher Wolf says, I'm going to highlight this one.
The Wii U
You
did
know
sell
what?
more than Dreamcast.
I'm pro Wiimote controls because people broke so many of them in TVs when they fly out of their hands.
That was funny.
That is true. That's why they eventually, because they didn't originally come with it, but there's a little like strap that you could put in here and tie it to your wrist, and that wasn't
never
good
did it.
enough. So they started sending out ones where the little cord is actually thicker, and then they gave you the freaking Wii condom thing that goes on the actual Wiimote. Yeah, that thing. So I don't have any. I do have a couple of the little, whatever those things are called, but I don't have any of the
Straps.
Yeah. Lanyard. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, straps.
I do have a couple of those lanyards, the original ones where the cord is like super thin. And I think I got one that was thicker, but I
This
always
one's
took them
kind of
off.
thin.
I think that's the thicker one.
It is.
But I don't have any of those rubber sleeves. I was like, I don't need any of that crap.
I actually kind of like how it feels on in my hand with the rubber sleeve.
So
kind of like how that like the original series, the Elite One had the rubber on the back.
Yeah,
I actually kind of like it, like the feeling of it.
Okay. October Mike says I always use the Wiimote in Smash horizontally. I had some people who that was their because there were so many ways to play Smash. You could play it with the Wiimote and nunchuck. You use a GameCube controller, or you could play it sideways. I had some people where this was the preferred way to play it. So you're not alone. I would use it like that in Smash Wii U. All right.
I think we should move to me next if you were done talking about the Wiimote.
Real quick, DDR says, does the Wii Fit Pad count as a controller?
Yes.
That's one of my faves because my girlfriend would be in her undies while playing Wii Fit. Nice.
That's a good reason.
That is a very good reason. I've got mine somewhere. I don't know where it is, but I've still got mine. So whether it would qualify as a peripheral, absolutely. As a controller, I would say no because it doesn't have any buttons and you can't use it outside of like one or two games that it's designed for. So
you can try.
There's actually more than 2 games that are made for it.
But there's very few, and you can only use it for those ones. And
let me look that up because
it doesn't.
You're being a pain.
So I would say it doesn't count as a controller, but if you want to put it on your list, I can't stop you. So, Paul says RE4 was amazing on there. Yeah, the GameCube version of RE4 was terrible because you couldn't freaking aim. This is the only way you could actually aim properly, and I could make it through most of the game was playing the Wii version. So with the motion aiming, it was far superior to the GameCube controller aiming.
There are 115 games, according to Wikipedia, that use the Wii balance board.
Really? I thought it was like 5. Interesting.
You also have to remember it was used in the Wii U as well.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
And there was a lot of balance, like Zumba Fitness 17 or whatever.
Well,
Oh my
there was
God.
also I think Sonic and Mario and Sonic of the Olympics used them as well. Yeah, Mario and Sonic at the winter at the Olympic Winter Games used it.
I never got to play any of those. Damn.
So
But I think it would be a good idea for me to go into my next thing
Go
because it
for
kind
it.
of relates to the Wii controller, and that my third one is actually the Wii Classic controller.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my
I actually just
God.
like the way this feels.
never used one, but I remember seeing them.
I just like the way the shoulders buttons work, and they also have the ZL buttons as well for extra, and then they have the sticks as well for control games that need it. But it just feels really good to play Super Nintendo games on it, and even NES games.
Was there a way to not have it have to connect to the Wiimote? Is that
No.
was that? That's why I hated those. That was
That's
like,
the that's the
oh,
only reason why you could forgive its short cord length.
Oh, that's right, because
Yeah.
it plugged in to here, right?
Yeah, this is as long as the cord is.
Yeah.
Everything
But
I
the thing
hated
is
about
that
the
that's
Wii.
the only reason
Oh.
why you could forgive the cord length is because it's supposed to plug into the Wii remote.
And that was
I also
that
have
was
the
thing is
I also
people
have
would
a
always
Pro Classic controller.
Ooh,
I don't
I like
like
that
the
better.
I don't like the feels of the shoulder buttons as much on this one,
I didn't even
but,
know that controller existed until just now.
but yeah, but it does have the grips as well.
Was there any controller on the Wii?
I think this is the one that came with the GoldenEye.
Oh, the Daniel Craig re-release one.
Yeah,
I think
something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, you know what's funny? The guy who started Retro Achievements, I think he actually worked on GoldenEye, the remake.
Cool.
But yeah, a lot of people would always tell me just use that controller for the Wii, and then I'm like, you still need the Wiimote. You have to like plug in the Wiimote and then have it next to you, and then it's falling over
Yeah.
and everything.
I think
it's like, can I just
the worst thing
directly
is about
connect?
these controllers is that how light they feel, but
They
because
did
they have
feel
no
very light and cheap.
it's
Yeah,
because they don't have any of the connection stuff and all that.
That gold one you have, is that one wireless? So you can pair it directly to the Wii, or does that
No,
one
it's still wired.
Okay, so there was no wireless
But-
one that could pair directly to the Wii. You had
Yeah,
to connect it to a
But
Wiimote.
see, it comes out of the top, unlike the other one that comes out of the bottom.
Yeah, that's
that was one thing that I was like, why would you put the cord into the bottom? That makes no sense.
Well, it's
Was there
because some people would
any-
probably like put the Wii remote in their lap, and so
Yeah.
putting it underneath probably made more sense.
What was there any controller?
It
for
made
the
more
Wii
sense than
that
how
was
the
like a-
than when the Dreamcast did it.
I don't. I missed that one entirely. But yeah, was there any
What, the-
controller on the Wii that like directly would tether to the console?
Not
that was
on
like
Wii,
a normal.
no.
This is why I
Not that
skipped
I
the
know
whole.
of.
This is why I skipped the whole system.
Yeah, I think the Wii U is when they had the first
Yeah,
one that
see,
way.
The Dreamcast, its controller comes out the bottom,
Oh,
which is
yeah,
why
yeah,
they
yeah,
have
yeah.
this little thing on the back you can
Yeah.
you can clip the freaking. I think it's the reason why they did this though is I think because they couldn't find room to put the controller cord coming out of the
That thing,
top
yeah,
because of the VMU and all that.
Hmm.
So they were like, okay, let's just put it at the bottom and put a clip.
Yep, that's why.
Okay, so let's see here.
But at least with the the classic Wii remote, it actually made a bit more sense coming out of the bottom because you'd have the actual part that it's connecting to somewhere near you, like in your lap or something.
And what was that one called again?
The
That's
classic controller.
the Wii Classic controller.
And there were plenty of games that could use this, even that weren't on the Wii, the
Virtual Console.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, Kay's right. I could have used the GameCube controller. Did the GameCube controller
that's
on
right.
the Wii, like, could you play Wii game, like proper Wii games with?
It
the
depended on
GameCube
the.
controller?
It'd have to have the controller on the back to say it can. It you could use the GameCube controller.
Okay,
I never
okay.
tried anything on Wii with a GameCube controller other than Smash Bros. So
I'm
But
just
if-
I'm getting.
There were other
PTSD
games,
back to that era.
But they usually had to work with the Wii remote, the Wii Classic remote as well
Mhm.
first, because I think this has about the same amount of buttons as the GameCube controller.
Okay.
Actually, the GameCube controller I think has less, because of course you have the 4 face buttons. And of course the GameCube controller doesn't have two shoulder buttons on both sides, and it also doesn't
That's
have a
right.
select button.
So Snap Rise dropping in the chat saying hello to everyone. What's up, Snap? Good to see you. And I got to meet him
Yo.
last week. disappeared. I wanted to talk to him about something in person, but I'll talk to him behind the scenes. But good to see you as always, Snap. And yeah, Kay brings up a point. The GameCube controllers could plug directly into the Wii, or at least the launch version of the Wii. They actually took the GameCube ports out in a later release because someone got me that one because it was black and not white, and I will always take my tech in black, and it did not have the GameCube controllers.
There is actually a black version with the GameCube controller ports as well, but it was just it's just that later on they just decided to take it out because it was costing them extra money to put it in.
Oh, that was stupid because that's vital because. Smash Bros. A lot of people didn't like it, but Brawl is my favorite Smash Bros. Well, at least until I played Ultimate. I still haven't played enough of Ultimate to say whether I like it more than Brawl, but I like Brawl a lot. But yeah, she's saying that you could plug the GameCube controllers directly in, but you still had to use the Wiimote to launch the game. After that, you would use the GameCube controller. You couldn't launch the game solely with the GameCube.
And it also depended on the game because, of course, they didn't want Twilight Princess working with a GameCube controller because you just get the GameCube version.
Right.
And
yeah.
And then, of course, games that really required the motion control, like Skyward Sword, it wasn't going to use the GameCube controller ever. So. And it made sense that Budokai Tenkaichi 2 and 3 had GameCube support because they were originally designed for the PS2 in mind.
Sure.
And be honest, that was one of those things where the motion controls just replaced button presses.
Y'all run a nice show, so I'm trying to be quiet during Wii talk because I'm if I would cut off my Wii if I could. I hated that thing. Not until it grew a big U was I a fan.
Yeah, I wouldn't go. I'm the same way. I wouldn't go as far as you wanting to cut things off, but I mean, yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Wii as well.
So Flame Mage is dropping in chat as well, saying stuff, dudes. What's up, Flame Mage? Good to see you tonight.
Oh.
And Snap was like, sorry, ghosted you all. I got tired and I thought everyone was had a lot of drink. I only had one drink that night, so I was not wasted. I was also driving, so but it was good to meet you. We talk all the time behind the scenes. So
you're probably one of the few people that actually live close to Vegas.
Yeah, I did drive. So so I did have my car, but I had to drive back to where I was staying. And then I drove back the next morning. So I was like, I cannot have a hangover because I need to get to where I'm staying and then I'm driving in the morning. But it was good meeting you in person, Snap. So, all right. Let's see here. Jason, what is your number 3?
So I guess I'll continue the Nintendo thing. I'm going with probably the controller. Actually, no, this isn't a good spot. This is probably the third most controller I used and probably the most influential controller out there. And that's the Super Nintendo controller. If you look at all the controllers now, except for controllers that have the offset, analog sticks or anything like that, pretty much all controllers kind of took that design and, ran with it. If it wasn't for that controller, if that controller was designed any different, I know Nintendo wanted to change a bunch of their stuff, but even like the N64 had a little bit of it in there. The GameCube didn't, but it was a weird controller to begin with. But now with how, PlayStation's controllers look, or with, technically Xbox in a way, with just the D-pad's at a different spot, every third-party controller, every pretty much handheld, has that type of design. So it's one of the nicest, simplest design controllers. It's still one of the best controllers you can use today. It fits nice, it feels nice. It's hard not to say anything bad about the controller. It's just a simple, great design, and best for everything.
I think I would have put it on my list if I didn't put the Wii Classic controller there because it just feels so similar overall.
Yeah,
and the classic controller was meant to be used for Super Nintendo control games.
Right.
Yeah, this is like the #1 retro controller from back in the day. Like, if you only play retro games, if you're just an old school guy, like everyone says the Super Nintendo controller is where it's at. And there's a good reason for that. It's like just solid, durable. If you still have one from back in the day, it probably still works just fine. It was perfect for the system. It's perfect for anything in that era. So yeah, you can't really say anything. I would be shocked. Can anyone in chat say anything bad about the Super Nintendo controller? I dare you.
I can say one thing.
Oh, go guy.
I can too.
Yeah, I can say one thing. For me, again, some of my favorite kind of games, the D-pad was kind of smushy and it would rip the crap out of your thumb. Not as bad as, Sega Dreamcast. And then also for games that use like a Street Fighter or something like that, learning how to use these buttons here instead of having the 6 buttons on the full face was something to get used to. But again, having your fingers and everything like that way, I mean, this is pretty much the controller. Like if you play games now and you grew up playing this, you pretty much knew how to play anything because this button was always, kind of your run. This was always kind of like your jump. These were kind of your special. Like you always had like some type of like training wheels with this controller that if you didn't play games for like 5 or 10 years, you'd pick it up and be like, okay, I'm going to try this. Oh, cool. It's the same thing that I remember. Granted, you might have to learn some new things of cameras and all that stuff, but like this right here is pretty much the design for everything.
Yep. No, 100%. You did remind me there's something that's always been in the back of my brain about this controller that like almost it adds like a little tick to me when I'm playing like really hard games on it. And there's a lot of hard games on the Super Nintendo, a lot of hard platformers. But when you're really getting sweaty in a game and you're using the SNES controller and you're really squeezing into that D-pad, there's like almost like a squeak or something that can develop on it on the D-pad.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear it. Yeah, I can try to make it right now, but
yeah, I can kind of hear it there. I guess like depending on how you use it and everyone, it'll probably have different levels of that. But mine developed that, and anytime I use it, I'm just like, it almost makes me hesitate to like make that jump or cross that bridge, so to think, sort of thought in a game. And so then I get in my own head, I'm like, oh god, and then I fall. So that there's something about that D-pad where it is the benchmark, it's the blueprint of this kind of controller, but there was something there that was just like ooh, it's not perfect, but it's pretty close to perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have mine handy because I didn't have it on my list or my honorable mentions, but so I went and grabbed mine. My one criticism is that one of my favorite games being the Mega Man X games, it's more so the software than the hardware, but you have to shoot, jump, and dash at the same time a lot. So there's not a really great way to do that. So the way I hold it while I'm playing that is this way. So I can hit the dash button with this button with this finger, and I can shoot and jump with my thumb.
Sounds like they should have put the dash on one of the shoulder buttons.
Well, that they should have, and you can't remap it obviously on Super Nintendo. You can on more modern releases, but the shoulder buttons cycle through your different weapons. So on more modern, what I always do is I always map dash to right trigger. So I can do that with my trigger, and then I can shoot and jump with my thumb. So that's my main issue with the SNES controller, is not necessarily the controller itself, because the advancement from the original NES controller to this is like light year. It's a big upgrade.
You could say the same thing about Super Metroid as well with the because
I never played Super Metroid on the Super Nintendo, so I don't know.
But luckily the Super Metroid, you could change the buttons around.
Mm-hmm.
So that it was actually something you could do. And I always changed it so that the shoot was Y and jump was B, and then the run was A. Well, there wasn't very
that's
often.
That's exactly how I would think it should be. What was it then?
I can't remember what it was originally.
This should be shoot.
I think it was B that was shoot and A was jump.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. You're right, because because on the top of the screen there's the 2 buttons that were next to your missile and your whatever you had.
So I always change it to be Y is shoot and B is jump.
I would too, because that makes way more sense than whatever.
Unlike Mega Man, you're not usually trying to shoot and jump at the same time you're trying to do running.
Right, that's true. That's a little bit of a slower pace
outside
game.
of the super speed runners.
Yeah.
Now I always say it as like a Mega Man for the Super Nintendo, because like I do agree with that, but like you had to learn how to like kind of. For me, instead of playing like how you did it, I learned kind of like roll my thumb. So jump was always my important button. And if I needed to roll to shoot, it would be roll for shoot. And if I need to dash, it would be dash jump, but not like dash and shoot at the same time. So it'd be roll to dash, roll to shoot, and then just how I would roll my thumb. So you
played Mega Man like you played Dark Souls. You either
you
either dodge or you attack. You don't do both.
Yeah. Kind of, yeah. Because I'm thinking right now, it's more like I'm just jump, roll, dash. Yeah. Yeah, kind of, yeah.
All right, James. I think you said you have some controversial answer for number 3.
All my answers are controversial because of just how I speak. It comes with the territory, but yeah, it's like a side note. It's a side note on it, and it's because of my specific variant of this controller. This is number 3, right?
Yes,
number
we're on
3?
number
All
3.
right. Let's do number 3 because I had a little addendum with this one, but I think most people here will agree. This controller was an evolution of another one of my favorite controllers here, and for this could have been higher, just like every other controller on this list. It could have been higher. But there's some things that held it back, but I still love it. And I feel like every controller after this controller was a downgrade rather than an upgrade. I am talking about the Xbox 360 controller right here. I love this baby.
His is the
right
last
here.
3, right?
This is the top 3. Yes. This is
Well, no, I'm saying his is the last
my-
last third.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's
My
number
number-
3.
My number 2 is actually going to be the 360 as well.
And we
as
got
well.
the same one. Oh my
That is my
goodness.
favorite. I didn't have that one, but that is my favorite of the 360 controllers because that's
Because
great.
One of the reasons why I like the 360 controller over the modern Xbox controllers, the LB button, the bumper buttons actually feel like they can actually take a little bit of abuse.
That's
That's
interesting.
It's funny
because-
you say that. I'll
Yes.
go ahead and you go ahead and I'll talk about it later.
I think
I also
you
got the
might
ODST one.
agree with me. There is a few detract. I want to talk. There's good and bad about this controller. It could have been number 1, but there is some bad. And it's actually the number 1 thing that breaks for me on the controller is the bumpers.
Yes.
For this,
I have one of my other 360s. The bumpers, they still work, but they don't click.
Yeah.
They're very mushy.
If I can get the negatives out of the way, it's the bumpers. So I'm surprised, dude, because my bumpers were always the ones to go with my 360 controllers. And of course, infamously, the D-pad, the 360
Terrible
D-pad, just
D-pad.
it sucks, bro. And it also breaks. They try, and it was all because PlayStation copyrighted their amazing D-pad. I mean, there's no doubt about it that PlayStation has an amazing D-pad.
And so did Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo as well, but it's they couldn't do like the separate button ones, and so they try to find ways around it. And this one, I think, was the worst. I think it was absolutely the worst.
Yeah.
But apart from the detractions, I love this controller. If you wanted to heat it,
Besides the D-pad and the stick drift, I'm actually thinking about
I never
finding
had stick
someone.
drift.
I've had stick
I have a
drift on
little
some of these, but it's
Yeah.
nowhere near as bad as modern controllers. But I've been thinking about getting a couple of these changed out to Hall effects.
Ooh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, my stick drift on the 360 was never bad. It was never like what I get on the Switch. What it would do is like if you're playing a shooter and you're standing still, like let's say you're playing Gears of War, and you're getting like you're getting like mission intel, and you're just standing there waiting for it to finish. You would notice your character just
Yeah.
slightly
Yeah,
turn.
Just trying
It
to
was
go,
always-
trying to go off screen. He's like, I gotta leave.
It's like the
just
dead
I'm
zone
going to the
was.
bathroom.
It's like they set the dead zone on the 360 controller D-pad control sticks just enough so that stick drift doesn't really start affecting it until it's really bad.
Yeah, and so it was still playable while you were using it. There was like no issues, at least for
Yeah.
me, while you were using it. Whereas like on the Switch, for example, it is straight. The stick drift on that breaks it. Like it is unusable once a Joy-Con gets a stick drift because it will be like you're trying to turn right and it goes boom and it goes to the moon. But if you wanted the controversial comments, the only thing was this is also my favorite controller art of all time is in
That
terms of
is
special controllers.
Excellent controller art.
And it's partly because of my own personal taste here, but this was done for Halo 3. There was 2 of these done for Halo 3. This is my favorite.
I still
one of
need
the
to find a
2.
brute one.
I always wanted the one that you're showing. I always wanted that one, but I never got it.
And part of the reason that I love this one is the art is done by Todd McFarlane, who is one of my favorite artists of all time. He created Spawn. He did a bunch of Venom, Spider-Man, Batman art, cover art. So I've always loved Todd McFarlane. So it was just awesome to see like Master Chief drawn in that Todd McFarlane style. You can even see in his smoke, if you know Todd McFarlane, you can tell just based on the smoke that it's his art. And the reason it's
Remember,
fun to-
James is mirrored right now, so
Yeah.
yes, yeah. So everything looks wonky. I'm just trying to fix the freeze. I don't even know if you guys can see me right now.
There,
But,
there you go.
Oh, okay. So, but anyway, the reason that was controversial is I miss controllers looking like this. This is my favorite special edition controller. And after the 360, the trend became make it subtle, make it subdued, and just like put a logo in it and maybe a little splash decal, maybe a little sprinkle of blood.
to be honest,
here.
though, the Doom Dark Ages one actually does look good with that.
I don't like it. I do not like it. If I'm gonna
For
buy
some
a
games, it
special
works.
if I'm gonna buy a special controller, I want it to be something that I can hang up. And so I just
Yes,
don't.
I
I don't
agree.
like. I want it to. I like the fact that this is like a full-on art piece. And there is obviously a market for the people that like it to do that style, but I don't like the
I
subdued.
can't
I
remember
don't
if I got my Halo 350 with this controller or not.
It came out like with the launch.
I'm talking about
of
like
Halo
actually
3.
playing Halo 3 and actually getting a 50 in one of the ranked modes.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so anyway, that's my take is I don't like the modern special controllers. I never buy special controllers anymore because it's like logo, little bit of decal, and maybe a color swap, and that's it. And I'm like, what happened to my favorite artist ever doing a full wrap? And it's just like it doesn't impact the controller.
Well, it's not
at all.
a full
all
wrap because the back is just black.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. I never throw it back. But
It's just the front.
Yeah, that is what I prefer for my special controllers. But back to the
agree.
controller itself. That was the controversial statement. But obviously, I'm once again in the minority. I'm wrong with my Wii. I'm wrong with my special controllers. But I love this
I
controller.
mean, I would like more of these type of controllers to come back, but sometimes
Yes.
the icon with the decal looks really nice.
That's true. I think there was like a Spider-Man one that was decent on PlayStation. But
Probably,
yeah, the thing that I really like about this, and I alluded to it, that Xbox actually downgraded in the future was the quadrants. I don't know why they got rid of this, but I loved the quadrants.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Why did
I
they
didn't even
get?
think about that. Those were great.
And so if you are,
Well, I think they were thinking that nobody would be playing multiplayer on the same console anymore.
Well, not, but it also told you when your battery was low, it would blink. It would help you know when you were syncing because it would spin. So if you don't
That's
know,
right.
yeah, it would never light up fully like they do now. It would go in 4 separate quadrants, and it was player 1, 2, 3, 4.
360
And-
got syncing wirelessly. It was one of the only consoles that's done that for me.
Yeah,
Every other console, I'm just saying, fuck it, I'm just gonna plug it in
exactly.
and
Yeah,
get sync that way.
I have no problem with syncing anything on Xbox One or Series.
I just
So-
always plug it in.
I think
It's just easier that way.
I have a lot of problems with syncing it if you're using it wireless for Steam, but that could be like just something with modern Microsoft and
Yeah.
Steam. I don't know.
Are you
But,
talking about using a 360 controller with Steam?
No, use anything. He was saying
Oh,
forward,
okay.
like Xbone and Series X and all
Because in
that.
order to use this with your PC, you needed the wireless adapter for Windows.
Oh, okay.
Or you just needed that silly charging controller too.
No. Oh, well, if you
That
had a
That
wired,
didn't work.
yeah, if you
you
had
had
a
to have a wired
360
controller.
Oh,
you could
okay.
plug that into your PC. But if you had a wireless one, the cable only does power; it doesn't do data, so you can't plug it into your computer to use it on your computer.
Yeah.
Maybe
But
that's
the
what I
wired
needed.
controller could. But the
Wired
wired
Yeah,
controller
maybe that's
didn't
what I
even
was
Yes.
thinking of.
What's weird is the wired controller didn't even have Rumble.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. I
If I remember
remember
correctly.
that. Yeah, there was something about that. Yeah.
Although I think I did
I-
play Halo 2 on Vista with that controller.
Oh, okay.
And I got all the
Yeah,
achievements for that.
That's one of
Oh,
the
Vista.
first
But-
Xbox or first
Games for Windows
PC
Live.
games. Yes, thank you. One of the first.
With a few minor drawbacks, this felt like a complete evolution. And then when they went forward with their next evolution, it felt like there was multiple step backs. I love the quadrants. I loved how they did that. I
Here's
love
where
the
they came
wire.
from.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that one as well.
Don't have that one, but that's on my honorable mentions.
The
I should have grabbed the Duke.
You don't need it.
Why not? It's legendary. Just to go from wired to wireless was like revolutionary at the time. It felt like a lot of this controller. What I love about it is of the time, and I loved it carrying on like through the Xbone era. I didn't like the Xbone controller, and so being a primary PC player, I kept on this. I kept playing on this. I got it working on my PC. I would buy adapters from China just to make sure that I could use them wirelessly. I would get wired ones. I love the 360 controller. The only reason I use modern Xbox controllers is that we play so many games on PC that it's more convenient. It's more likely to work. And I can rule out the fact that I'm using an older controller and older hardware as if there's any issues. So I would still be using the 360 controller if I'm outside of, things that require the D-pad because the D-pad sucks. I would still be using this as my primary PC controller if it wasn't starting to show its age in terms of compatibility. So I absolutely love this thing. It could honestly go to number 2. Number 2 and 3 is debatable for me, but it's all about the issues as well that just hold it back. Another issue, when the battery pack in the back gets loose, you can accidentally bump it if you're getting sweaty in gaming and it disconnects, and then you have to wait and hold.
I had that problem.
You know what?
all
You know
the
how I
time.
fixed that? I actually
Going
just-
wired.
No, I take out. What I do is I just put a little small piece of aluminum foil in here, fold it up, and it keeps the
okay.
connection keeps the connection for you better.
Nice.
Oh, and I guess now I'm just thinking of all the issues, but another issue is if you didn't.
I never had issues with it whenever I did that.
I've had a lot of issues with 360 controllers.
If you didn't keep it popped open like that. If you didn't keep it open when you weren't using it, it would drain the battery.
Oh,
I
when
never
it was
had that
off.
issue unless I had the button held down
I-
by something.
no.
Me and my friend
I did
Elvis
that too.
tested it. Yeah, we tested it, and your controllers would last longer, and so I would get in the habit of I'm putting my controller down, pop, and I would have to keep it out popped, and it would last longer. And that
And
was
it was because you just like now you can press the button and shut your controller off, but I would
Yeah.
just pop the battery out and it would to shut it off, so it would be way quicker
Yep.
as well.
yeah, you got into habits on the 360, right? So I love this controller. It's still one of my favorite controllers. I mean, it's number 3, but it would be number 2 if it wasn't for these nitpicks, if it wasn't for the battery stuff, if it wasn't for the D-pad, if it wasn't for my personal experience with the bumpers, and just the fact that it's showing its age. It would be at least 2, if not number 1. But I still love it, and and this variant in particular. So 360 controller will always be just revolutionary and groundbreaking for
Just
me.
while we're
And it was
talking about
never
Xbox controllers, it's funny that Microsoft had to came in with this idea
That was also great with the original
right
Xbox.
right as the wireless controllers were coming in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those breakaway cords, that was a great idea.
It was. I probably lost so many of those. I would be like, "Where did I got one piece of the controller? Where is it?" It's just, oh god, I always lose them.
But yeah, I have a lot of I mean, it is a great controller. I love using it. Hundreds, thousands of hours. It didn't make it on my list or my honorable mentions because I like a lot of the newer ones much better. But you talked about a lot of your nitpicks. My other one that hasn't been touched on was the battery pack being here, taking up so much space.
Yeah,
Like my fingers would get cramped because this is so much. It's taking up so much space in the way.
that wouldn't have
whereas-
been a problem for me if there wasn't for the potential jiggle and disconnect. If I could just mess with my hands back here a little more comfortably, then that wouldn't bug me as much. But yeah, it was the fact that if you just, as they wear on, you just touch it, nudge it, and it's like disconnected, and it's like, all right.
I would take like duct tape or like Scotch tape and on like to try to keep it on here. But
yeah.
so that's one thing, but just the amount of space it takes up back here when you look at a modern Xbox controller, you don't have any giant battery pack here, so there's a lot more space for your fingers. So that's why I like the more modern ones a lot better. And I don't have any problems with the bumpers. I had problems with the 360 bumpers where they went mushy. I haven't had that on the newer ones.
So I have problems with the triggers on the new ones, but I have problems with the bumpers on the 360.
So
One
just
thing
the
I would
opposite.
love to know, and I don't have an answer, but my battery issue, the battery drain on the 360. At least with that, I could pop it. I haven't tested to see if the Xbone or Series X controllers also have battery drain. I don't know. But it's so much harder to pop it, right? You just don't bother because you have to slide it and then.
Oh
So
yeah, because you have to pull this off and then pull your battery pack.
So
or the batteries
I
out.
dropped that habit of popping the back because I'm like, it's not worth the effort.
I've never done
anymore.
that on
Yeah.
the Xbox One or Series controller.
So the battery drain might still be there. It's just I'm lazy.
I've never had a problem with it.
Yeah.
With it draining, but I have also used more battery packs on these than actual
Okay.
batteries.
I run through
so
batteries.
That's why I always liked about the batteries still being there, because I actually like the ability to actually change out the batteries, even if I have to go buy new rechargeable batteries. Because
Mhm.
to replace a PlayStation battery, you have to take the controller apart and get a replacement battery,
yeah,
and
when it's built in.
and that's always a pain in the butt because of how they're put together,
Mhm.
especially those PS3 controllers.
Yeah, like I've
geez.
got third-party Switch Pro controller. There's nothing here. I can't open it. It's if the battery goes, I just need to get a new controller.
Or just take it apart and get a
Or
new
that.
battery. Because luckily, at least on the PS3, I haven't looked at the PS4 and PS5. The PS3, all you have to do is open it up and then just change out the battery, because it's just like a pin connector. You just take it out, and the new batteries always have them the connector as well. It's just those PS3 controllers are an absolute pain in the butt to put back together.
Yeah, the PS4 controller is pretty scary. There's 3 parts inside of it to get to the battery, and there's 2 like ribbons that if you accidentally disconnect or you accidentally pull too hard, you're done. But as soon as you get there, and if you're safe enough, it's replacing the battery in a PS4 controller is pretty easy. But
It's everything else.
it's the tearing it apart stuff that's like if you
That's
do
a
one
PS5
wrong thing.
controller.
I haven't torn apart a PS5 controller because I know there's even more in there, so I've yet to do that.
They really need to make it so it's easy to at least replace the battery, because that's the one
Yes.
thing that you're gonna need to change more often.
Yeah, they don't want
I
that.
agree. They want you to just buy a new controller.
But one last thing I'll talk about the original Xbox controller. You notice it has the same two things that the Dreamcast controller has, but it still has the cord coming out the right way.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, oh.
But then again, nobody used the memory units.
Yeah, I don't think I ever even saw one, much less
I did.
see one
I
in
had-
use.
I did
Yeah.
for Action Replay. I used it. If anyone knows what that is,
That was
I-
basically like a
Game Shark.
like a
A
Game
cheat.
Shark. or a
kind
Game
of like
Genie.
not exactly like Game Shark, but it was like the closest you could get because Game Shark was cheats, but Action Replay was sharing save files on the internet.
Yeah, with
Oh,
it's
okay.
because the way the Game Shark worked is it actually changed your memory addresses.
Mhm.
You know how like in retro
Basically
achievement-
how Retro Achievements works.
Well, yeah. Well, let's just say back on the whenever I was deving achievements for NES and Super Nintendo, I would actually be able to use the Game Shark cheats and actually figure out what addresses were doing what,
oh, nice.
and I would be able to, that would help me out a lot for there.
I also would use it when my beloved original Xbox was dying. There they
there's
are.
some.
I would because
I mean, to be
pretty
honest,
much
with how big that hard drive was, nobody ever really thought about using those memory units.
the only time
Yeah.
I saw it take a hit was because of like the Halo maps and the Battlefront 2 DLC a little bit. But when
That's
my
because it was
Xbox-
DLC, not game saves.
yeah, game saves you were always going to be fine. Even custom
Yeah,
soundtracks. you
And
were
even
fine.
though the original Xbox had, I think it had an 8 GB hard drive, it still ran on blocks. It's like, what the heck does blocks mean? How
Yeah.
much
And you,
space is a
and you
block?
never saw it go down because
It never went down. It was always like 9,999. It's like you're never going to run out of space. Unless you ripped music to your hard drive, then you might run out of space, but I didn't do that. But I know some people did.
Or you did the
James probably
downloadable
did.
content that's very few games used.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did it all. But yeah, the memory cards were useful when my Xbox was dying because I was like, it would either turn on for 5 minutes or it would turn on for an hour. And so I was like, I need to save all my saves. So I was just transferring them little by little with a memory card.
I
with
ended
the
up having to do that
controller.
with my original PS3 because
Oh,
it yellow
yeah.
lighted to death.
Oh, the fucking yellow.
And I was in the middle of a Final Fantasy X playthrough.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
I
Yeah,
was like
save
30
that for-
hours into it, and I was finally getting to the side content, and I was like, and it yellow lighted to death, and I was like, I need to get this fixed, just so I can get that save.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that
I still
era
have
was
that
the
console,
worst.
but it's been hard modded now. But it lasted only one more year.
Ah, bummer.
Sadly, I had the CPU reballed and like a new fan installed and even more vents added to it. And it was one of the PS2 backwards compatible ones. Part of the reason why I was trying to save it as best I
Thick.
could.
Yeah, old thick. Yeah, I love that console. So overrated. So underrated. Sorry, underrated. It's so overrated. It's the worst. No, I actually went out of my way to get one. So I love it. I absolutely love that PlayStation. And
It's actually
they
the
were-
Metal Gear Solid 4 one because it actually came with the Metal Gear Solid 4.
Oh yeah. I've never mine I bought off a Craigslist because people didn't know what this girl had because like there was thick PS3s that would not have the backwards compatibility and all the bells and whistles. And the way you could tell was how many USB drives were in the front. So 2 meant it was the newer version, and if it had 4, then it was the older version. And I remember this girl
They
was
got
selling
rid of USB ports?
Yeah.
they were selling the PS3 at a loss, like a massive loss. It was
There was also
overpriced,
a
but they were-
ton of different memory card slots that they had on the original PS3 as well. Like you could
Yeah.
like directly plug in an SD card, the memory card from the PSP,
Oh, interesting.
So, if you try
they were
to
selling
and a
it
bunch
at
of cards I still never heard of.
So,
uh,
so they were selling it at a
sorry.
loss, and so they got rid of some of the stuff to save money.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So yeah, they
Alright.
got rid of a lot of the bells and whistles. But yeah, I was looking for one. But if you still find a backwards compatible PS3, it racks you up hundreds of dollars even now. And then there's also the yellow light. But I was on Craigslist one time, it was I think Facebook Marketplace, and this girl was trying to sell her PS3. This was only a few years ago, and it was all scratched up to hell. And everyone was mocking her because there's always snobs like that you get on video game marketplaces, and they're like, "Who's gonna buy this?" And it's like she was like, "It's only $30," and it was like her boyfriend's name was scratched in it. Everyone was insulting her, and I was like, "Hey, how many USB ports?" And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "How many USB ports?" And she's like, 4, and I'm like, sold. And I'm like, you guys are all idiots. I just saved hundreds of dollars just because you can't stand that Brad is written in it. It's like I just got a fully backwards compatible PS3 for $30. Screw you.
But I
all.
mean, nowadays it's
That's
actually easy
great.
to emulate PS1 and PS2 games on your computer now.
No, absolutely not. I liked it, and I've got my old Brad right here.
Was that the name that was on it? Was Brad?
It was. I can look.
I will say, I mean, if you are looking for a backwards compatible PS3, GameStop's the easiest way to find them because they just take them in as a old school PS3. So, I mean, if you find a store that has one with 4, they don't charge anything extra. You can get discounts on them.
Ooh. So look out for those 4 USB ports.
You have to
Jake.
actually be friends with them though. From to actually look for the four USB ports.
True. I mean, I've gotten at least like 4 or 5 of them.
I think I've gone into my local GameStop twice for the 4 years I've lived here.
Yeah.
I go to my
used
local
to
game
spend-
store more, but they actually know what they're selling, so
Yeah,
they're gonna
I've
sell
been
it for
to
more.
GameStop in a long time.
They can't sell it for more, but I mean, yeah.
I'm talking about like the local game store because they actually.
Oh,
they
yeah,
act-
the local game store will, absolutely.
the local game store actually acts. They're actually classified as pawn shops.
Okay. So
It's the only
Jay,
way they
did
can
you-
actually take in product from customers walking in.
Did you find the name that was scratched onto it?
It's not Brad, but I'm gonna call it Brad. It's if you look at the front of it, I don't want to pick it up in case there's like a disc in there right now. There might be. But it's got a big it's scratched with a knife. It's a big H and a big F. And that's what's in between the PS3 there. So
That's
whatever
just the
that means.
initials.
It's Brad to me.
But yeah, Direwolf is like Brad satisfied you more than he satisfied her.
Oh yeah, and they didn't wipe it at all, so I can see Brad's whole total game history. I think I still have the Brad profile on there. If you want a Brad stream, let me know. We will honor Brad. 'Cause we love Brad here.
That's
Just make sure you don't give us
hilarious.
credit card information.
They left I could log into his PSN. I'm nice.
Well, to be
believe it or
honest, though,
not, but, yeah.
you couldn't even use the credit card information anymore on the
It's probably
PSN store.
expired.
Who just
Well,
bought
not
that,
7
you can't
copies
even-
of Sonic 06 on my
You
PS?
can't even use your credit card on the PS3 store.
Oh,
You have to
okay.
go. You have to add funds on the PS on another storefront, and then you can buy stuff out the PS3 store.
Mm. Yeah, it's a mess.
But I think that decision actually makes the PS3 store able to last longer, because it means that they no longer have to worry about security updates for the payment options.
Okay.
That makes sense.
At
I
this
love-
point, it's just the data storage and the licensing fees.
So I like Direwolf's last one. He says, "I'm gonna call the green see-through Duchess controller Kyler."
Ah, Kyler. We love Kyler. Hell yeah.
And Amon Ra is here. What's up, Amon Ra? Moo to you,
Who do
too, buddy.
you?
So, all right. With that, we'll move into our number 2s.
Well, I've already
Um,
said my number 2 because it's associated with his 3.
360. Right?
Oh.
Do you have anything to add to 360 land
That's
there?
right.
Apart from
Pretty much
that,
that's about it.
oh, we love it.
Oh,
3 and
I do.
2.
I could show off this one honorable mention that I just have lying around.
Okay. That's a 360 joystick. I've never seen one of
Yeah.
those.
It's a flight stick, right?
Yeah, it's a flight stick.
What game
What's,
was that for?
I think it was for like I can't remember what game it was for, but it even has like a.
A throttle.
I
throttle.
like the decals on it and everything. Like there is.
I think it's for the Pacific War game, Battle Station.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Like I see, it has the B, X, and Y up here.
What's
this is A.
what brand is that?
Don't know. On the bottom, it has Logan stick, but I think that's a sticker. Pacific Aviator stick for 360.
Mm.
Okay. Nice.
But even twists.
Oh, it's got the Z-axis on it. Nice.
Nice.
And it goes.
Speaking of that,
This is your LB, LS, RS, LRB.
Oh, okay.
Should
And
play
this
the
Nova
Halo
down here
Reach
too, as well.
flight mission with it. Just that one mission. There you go.
I remember going over to my friend's house and he had a joystick that had a Z-axis. So you
I'm
could
actually
hit
someone who
it.
thinks that Halo 4's space mission is better than Halo Reaches.
I don't even remember it. There's only 2 things I remember about Halo 4, and anytime I think of anything else,
They're
I
both
get
blue, aren't they?
A little bit blue, a little see-through. Yeah.
Um,
Anyway.
To be honest,
But-
the only problem with that flight mission is it was not designed with multiplayer in mind.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You can go watch our co-op stream with the company boys.
But yeah, I went over to my friend's house and he had the joystick that had the Z axis, so you could twist it. And I was like, I need that for playing Mech Warrior because it was a pain to do.
Oh,
it
whenever
on
we
a
get to honorable
keyboard,
mentions,
so you
I will
could-
be showing off another controller that's for a mech game.
Okay. Yes, I had a feeling that was going to be on someone's list. But yeah, being able to
Yep.
keep going in one direction and turn your mech, the top half of your torso of your mech in another direction with the Z axis, I was like, I need that. I never ended up getting one, but I was like, this would be a game changer for Mech Warrior.
I was tempted to throw in my childhood PC joystick that I played, like Mech Warrior, all the flight sim games, pod racing that I played all those games with as a kid, but I couldn't remember. Like, there was a billion joysticks. So I literally didn't add it in my top 5 because I'm like, I have no idea.
That's why
I-
I just like an honorable mention. Just
Yeah, if you found the 1 in a million joystick that I had as a kid, I would be like, that's the one. But I don't even know where to begin to look, like where that is, like what the name would be. So I love joysticks. They were so great for simulation games on PC back in the 90s. I miss them. I'd love another one.
If I looked, I'm pretty sure I could probably find the joystick I had, and I remember freaking out because one of the generations of Power Rangers, because I love the Power Rangers as a kid. I don't know what generation it was, but one of the generations of the Power Rangers, the Megazord, the joystick they used was the exact same one I had for playing stuff on my PC. I'm like, I have that joystick.
just go pick up a joystick. They don't care what it looks like.
Yeah. So Wingus Dingus says, I see Neo fighting the urge to correct James on decal. Is that what he was trying to say?
A decal. Yeah, decal.
Because I don't know what the heck a decal is, but I know what a decal is.
I know I don't know what a decal is, but I like decal. Nice, simple, to the point. Decal.
Because I didn't even know, I literally did not know what he was talking about. But if that's just the Canadian way of saying decal, then I'm putting 2 and 2 together here. So thank you.
Just like the British way of saying truck is lorry.
Oh yeah, Carl had someone on his stream recently who's British. They said lorry. I'm like, WTF is a lorry. So I learned that.
I knew that
a week or 2 ago. I didn't know that.
Y'all got me literally looking for my joystick right now, and I can't find it. It's got a very specific. It's because you got the throttle on the left side there, right? Mine was like a flip. It was like a little.
Well, the throttle was
prong.
actually behind the joystick.
Oh,
on that one.
okay. Yeah, I'm just looking for my childhood right now, and I don't see it, and I'm sad about it. But yeah, there's so many. I need it. Most of the throttles are like a dial. Mine was like a little metallic flip that you would turn it back and forth, and I'm not seeing it. It's Lost in Time, Tears and Rain, Decals for the win. Let's go.
So I just Googled 1990s PC joystick, and the one that I have is literally like the 5th result.
I can't find mine.
Because it was so popular, it even got in the Power Rangers series.
Okay, this is almost. It had a side picture, so it looked like it, but then I saw I pulled it up. It's on eBay. It's very similar, but it's not the same one. So it had the same base, and so almost, not quite. So, but all right. So dude's number 2 was also 360, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm looking at big long joysticks now. I apologize. Go on.
Apparently, Kay, are you still out
Firmly
there?
grasp it.
If Kay is still out there watching the stream, I think she's gonna be happy about this one because my number 2 is what I believe to be the very first party wireless controller. I could be wrong about that, but
I know what you're talking about.
It was the first party wireless controller. That is the Wavebird.
Yeah, I got one too, but I'll talk about it later.
I love the Wavebird. It does have the same issue as I mentioned on 360 with the giant battery pack in the way, but this was like the first time I ever used a wireless
It also doesn't have
controller.
rumble.
Oh, does it not?
Nope.
It's been so long since I've used it. I did not remember that. But being this is the first wireless controller I and probably a lot of people ever had, the whole battery thing didn't bother me, and I was a kid, so my hands weren't as big as they were now. It was awesome. It was like a game changer having like a wireless controller. I knew that there were wireless controllers before that because I always wanted to get I saw a bunch of like third-party ones for N64 I always wanted to get, but I never ended up getting any of them. They probably weren't very good anyways. But getting to use the Wavebird, man, I spent so many hours playing Smash Bros with this thing. as well as Metroid Prime and stuff. This thing was great.
Outside
And-
of Nintendo official ways to use it, though, if you try to use it on PC, it always has issues because of the way it connects to the USB hub.
Oh, okay.
Because even though the adapter is still connected and it's still there, because of the way it sends data back and forth, it's too slow. So the computer starts thinking it's not connected.
Interesting, huh? Well, because I don't need, I've never actually looked into it, but I have no idea what the wireless communication protocol.
It's RF, radio frequencies.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's why
I
there's
never
different
actually looked
channels.
into it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because if you don't know, there's a little dial here, and you can go 1 through 16. So you could play in the same room with up to 15 other people, and you could all be using
Crazy.
Wavebirds. So okay, I did not know that it was RF. So that makes a lot of sense. But Kay is still here. She says base Wavebird gang. I love this thing, and I love GameCube a lot, and this is, in my opinion, the best version of the GameCube controller, and I know a lot of people really like the GameCube controller. It was great. My one and only gripe, and this isn't specific to the Wavebird or the GameCube basic controller, which I didn't grab, but is that you have a Z button, which is basically your right shoulder button. There's no left shoulder button. That's
It's
my only
wacky.
gripe with the GameCube
Yeah.
controller. But other than that, both the
Also, no
default
select
and the
button.
Wavebird are great. What was that?
No select button and there's no stick
Oh.
buttons.
Oh, you mean like a click? Like
Yeah.
There's no like R3
Yeah.
like on the
There's a reason why modern
controller.
versions of the GameCube controller on the Switch actually add those things.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't actually take a whole lot to add those.
Yeah. That was kind of cool having the R3 and L3 on the 360 controller, but all the others Nintendo consoles had a start and select. This is the first one that didn't, but I didn't think it really
No,
needed
the
it.
N64 didn't have it.
Oh, you're right. N64 didn't have it. And I didn't really feel like that was missing much, but not having a second shoulder button definitely could have come in handy. But that's my only gripe, is just the not having a second shoulder button.
I'm pretty sure some people would prefer the C button to be bigger, but we can also talk about more of that later.
But yeah,
Or
other
C
than-
stick, I mean.
Yeah, the C stick. My only complaint is this not having a second shoulder button. But
At least
I
we're
love
not
the
being
GameCube
charged
controller.
a yearly fee to use this C
to
button.
use the C button for sure. But yeah, I think the Wavebird is the best version of the GameCube controller, and I love this thing. It was great. So Flame Mage says Wavebird had such a good feeling. Yep, Wavebirds were base, says Snap. So and apparently dude had a SpongeBob reference that I didn't catch because I don't know SpongeBob.
I can't
But
remember what the
Nightmare
SpongeBob
says
reference was.
A+ SpongeBob reference, dude.
I can't
just
remember what the
blended
SpongeBob
in.
reference was.
So well.
I have no idea.
I missed the GameCube, so really I can only talk about the GameCube controller. But man, I loved playing it with Smash. I immediately understood why people love the controller when I started playing Smash on Wii U 3D. Well, just the Wii U for that controller.
I
That
use
was
this
kind of
for
my
Smash Melee and Smash Brawl.
yeah.
I also
so
use it for Ultimate.
Yeah,
Oh.
and you can use it for Ultimate as well. And they said for the Switch too that the upcoming GameCube controller only works with the GameCube NSO library. But man, there's no way that is not going to work also with the new Smash. We're getting a new
Smash
and
Ultimate
the
too.
Yeah, and the GameCube controller just has to work. It's standard at this point, so I'm looking forward to that as well. I hope that their new GameCube controller is good, and I hope that they're lying about it not working outside of the NSO library. But I guess we'll see.
Because I think even the N64 controller still works outside of the NSO, but
It's
good
just
luck
not
trying to use
well.
that control. Just
Yeah.
good luck using that with any modern game.
Yeah, it works with what's it called? The Nintendo World Championships. We use that for our Nintendo World Championship show, and that worked well. Pretty much Nintendo World Championships will take any controller you got because it's just as long as you have A and B and a D-pad, you're in. But yeah.
So Snap says that the Wavebirds were always selling out when he managed the store back then. And Kay says it wasn't her favorite version of the GameCube controller, but she does like the Wavebird. Interesting. Be curious
I
on what your favorite
guess.
GameCube controller was then.
I think I have a guess in case you do a part 2 or something. I won't say it, but I think it would probably be her favorite controller.
Okay. Oh, it might be her number one favorite controller on her list.
Yeah, I think so.
Uh,
I know where it is, and she was thinking about it when you brought this topic up to her. So
I know
be
exactly
number
which one it is. It's the Power Glove.
it's so bad.
Power
Kay
Glove
says-
is actually an NES controller, not a GameCube controller. Though.
Yeah.
Right.
Should be
Kay
for
says,
everything.
she uses the N64 controller for regular Switch games. Oh, cool. Did not know that was possible. So, my number 2 is Wavebird. Love this thing. So, Jason, what about you?
So my number 2 is gonna be actually my number 2, my number 1 are gonna be pretty obvious. I collect them. So if anybody just looks behind me, they probably know what my 2 and number 1 are gonna be. But now my number 2 is going to be those little guys right there. I have a bunch of them, but arcade sticks. I've had arcade sticks since the beginning.
Which one's your favorite?
Yeah, it's like you gotta be a little bit more specific than just arcade sticks in general.
So, I mean, I'm just gonna go with the history. I mean, I'm gonna use them all in general. I'll show you my favorite one that I have right now.
Okay.
But I started having arcade sticks since the NES Advantage. So, I mean, it's not just because of the fight sticks now, but like I had the NES Advantage, I had the Super Nintendo one. I have them both in another room, but I mean, I've always had an arcade stick for every system, pretty much. The only one I can think of, yeah, I'm like, there's only a few that I don't think I have, and I have adapters that have them. I mean, I have one back here that I used for my
Was there
PlayStation 2.
64?
I don't really know.
Or the GameCube?
GameCube didn't have one, no. I did have like special adapters.
I know that we did though.
Yeah. So, like,
I love that Mortal Kombat one you showed us on one of the shows I was on with you. That one's awesome.
I actually have that one at my parents' house because I got my dad like the Midway Arcade classics.
So
Nice.
This was one of my big first arcade sticks for like I would say, yeah. So the ones that I had for like the NES and everything like that were made by them. But when I started getting into them, this was PlayStation 2 time because actually this works on PS1 as well. This is the one that I used. This thing is a 2-player, huge guy.
Oh, that's for 2 players.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, it's a 2-player X arcade one.
Yeah, it's not like the one I'll be showing in honorable mentions.
Yeah. So like this one was my big guy that I used just for like those kind of things. But like I had a Green Goblin for the Dreamcast. That so long to that guy. When I got back into fighting games for the 360, I still have my guy right here. I've customized this thing so many times, it's not even funny. There's probably inside stuff that's not even the same thing, but this guy got me back into arcade games. And then I would say the one now, this is the one that I take to tournaments just because it's so easy to bring with. But this is my favorite one as of now.
That's sleek.
Yeah, I absolutely love this thing. I mean, all customized buttons. And then
even has handles.
Oh yeah, it's great. And then this is the one that man, this was my guy that I used for the longest time, and he's another big guy. But this was another one that I customized and made. So
what is it that Scorpion's saying?
He's telling the dog, "Don't make me." What did he say? Don't make me say it again to the dog.
I understand.
Yeah, I love it. That's great.
So yeah, this is another big guy. So like, I have a bunch. I absolutely love these things. Anytime a new one comes out, I unfortunately have to look and see if I want one, just because I have them. I have one upstairs that I use that's a Nintendo style one for my Switch to play like Guilty Gear and stuff. I have another one coming on Friday. It's almost another one that's like this, because my next thing is learning how to play with these guys.
Oh yeah, the H-Boxers or whatever.
Yeah, so I have a mix box coming in that's more of a WASD instead of this being your up button. But I'm trying to learn how to use these because these are nice, but I like the tactical feel of a joystick, so I'm trying to learn this kind of stuff. But yeah. And then again, as you said, I have the Mortal Kombat ones out there that that's signed and everything like that. That's sitting on top of my arcade cabinet. So yeah, I mean, I have a bunch. Yeah, I'm just the ones. Yeah, I have quite a few of them. We'll just say that. But yeah, no, I mean, and again, the reason why I like them is yes, they are collectible, they are nice and big, but I mean, it brings me back again as everybody's watched, the 29 other episodes of this stuff. It takes me back to the arcades because, the NES and Atari, like I said, were the controllers I did, but I mean, arcades were my game, were my my playgrounds and everything like that. So anytime I get to bring that experience home, it's still really nice to do it. And yes, fighting games, it works for too, but any 2D platformer, that's why when you're saying like Mega Man doing stuff, when I wanted to control, I would do that, but I mean, I would have a joystick and I would just have buttons all over the place that I could push to kind of do other things that I wanted to do as well. So I mean, yeah, arcade sticks are nice.
I've never had an arcade stick, but an arcade stick sounds like it would actually be pretty good for playing Mega Man X.
Yeah, I mean, hold on, give me one second as you guys can talk.
So I
So,
thought
do you
Jason
guys-
was gonna. I thought he was gonna make every single one of his top fives a different arcade.
His
stick.
5 favorite arcade sticks.
Yeah, that's what I literally thought. That's what he was.
I
Gonna
was thinking
do.
that too.
I figured he probably wouldn't, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
Mm.
My problem
I
with
can
the
respect
arcade
it.
sticks is I can't use them for long because of the same reason I can't use Guitar Hero controllers anymore.
Oh,
It's just that
yeah,
it affects me. It takes longer for arcade sticks to affect me the same way.
yeah. Mm.
So yeah, this was my NES one or SNES
Super
one.
Nintendo.
So,
I was like, that looks like a Super Nintendo.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. So
Straight up
your
Nintendo.
yeah, your L and R buttons are right here, and then again your B, Y, and there. So I mean, you could just jump and shoot this way, and again, kind of like how you had your controller.
I've never. I mean, it makes sense, but I've never seen a Super Nintendo fight stick before. I saw one for NES, but I never saw one for Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
What's funny is there's like only like 2 or 3 fighting games in the entire NES library.
There's a couple.
Well,
and
the
they're
funny
probably
thing-
all Street. No, there's Street Fighter. There's Clay Fighter. There's
yeah. There's a few.
On the NES. I'm
Oh,
talking
on
about.
NES. I thought you were talking about.
Oh yeah,
Super
no,
Nintendo.
there's just like Kung Fu and everything like that.
I have
But
no
yeah,
idea
I mean,
on NES.
even this for fighting games, it didn't work very well because again, as you can see, there's 4 buttons up here, 2 up here. So like, it was really weird to program the buttons that way. I mean, this was just used for pretty much everything.
Mhm. No, I dig it.
Play
I've
Final
never.
Fantasy with that.
There you go. I love arcade games, but I've always sucked at fighting games, and let alone using a fighting stick. I can respect it absolutely, and it's pure gaming. But whew, I've always just done D-pad face buttons for me because
Mhm.
I've never made that jump. Maybe one day. I need to get a nice, pretty one, and I'll get into it.
Yeah, I mean, they're more for aesthetics now. I mean, you get better performance out of like stuff like said like this and like D-pads and everything like that, just because. Again, this is just for old people like me that want to like like I said, we're in an arcade. We want to just take this stick and just
Yeah.
doing
Yank it.
360s and yeah, we're just smacking buttons, doing weird stuff like that. So I mean,
Yank it,
this is
spank
just
it.
more of a feel. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. No, I absolutely respect it. For some reason, I never considered getting an arcade stick for arcade games. I always, like, at home, I was like, well, I need to be really into a fighting game, but it's like, wait, I could just play Root Beer Tapper, and I'd be happy as happy could be.
Or
Smash
Defender or
TV.
Joust.
Yeah,
Galaga.
yeah.
Mhm.
So we have our fight sticks. I got Kay a Soul Calibur one on the
Nice.
Xbone there, I believe, because she was really into Soul Calibur 6, I think is the latest one. So it's a Soul Calibur 6 one, and it's super pretty. But it's like, oh yeah, I could go back and play Galaga. Why am I not doing that? And then I'd be
Mhm.
happy.
What's really sucks though is that I have one of those arcade 1-ups, and it's actually one of the ones you can hack with just like a USB port.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, I could not get RetroArch to read the controller that came with it.
No,
The actual arcade stick
the stick
buttons.
itself. Damn.
So because of that, I couldn't really actually do anything in RetroArch once I got in there.
Ah.
Yeah, it looked up Soul Calibur 6 is the only one, at least on Xbox, that is Xbox One. All the older ones are 360. And Soul Calibur 6 is already 7 years old, and there hasn't been one since. Wow.
Yep.
It came out
Surprised.
at the worst time because we're in a fighting game renaissance for the past few years, and it just barely missed it. Even though it might.
And it came out
be-
right before the pandemic. if I
Yeah,
remember
and
correctly.
out of all the
So that
fighting
c-
games we've gotten lately, I think it's maybe my
that kind of
favorite
killed
one.
the fighting game scene. for
Yeah,
it.
unfortunately, it didn't sell well, so it's not going to come out anytime soon. So it was fun to play, but yeah, unfortunately, that it didn't hit the mark and it didn't do anything. And Tekken sells way more, even though they kind of messed up 8. But hopefully, they'll fix it.
Well, they broke it with an update, so they can fix it with an update.
Oh yeah,
Classic.
They can. Just
Yeah.
not saying they will.
Yeah, DJ Darrell says, I wonder how much easier it would be to do a Ryu as a Zuna drop with an arcade stick. Like I said, I've never had an arcade stick, but it would be interesting to try playing Ninja Gaiden with it. I'm sure it would
Actually, to be honest,
actually
I'm pretty sure
be decent.
I've gotten that combo down pretty easily now.
Yeah, I-
'cause
yeah.
I'll be
I
playing
mean,
more tomorrow night as well, but I'm only playing on
I did
hard. And
beat
dude
the-
is now on Master Ninja.
I ended up beating the first 2 levels with the Master Ninja rank.
Nice.
So I think I've now gotten further than you have ever gotten.
Yes, you have.
Because you never beat the first level.
I never
on
beat
Master
the
Ninja.
first level on Master Ninja, but I was doing Ninja Gaiden Black, not Ninja Gaiden Sigma, so I don't know. I haven't played Sigma yet, but I will be playing Sigma, so I don't know if how the difficulty levels or stacks between the two versions of the game. So I bet Direwolf knows because I think he's played both.
And when it comes to K's thing, that the bad net code wouldn't have been as much of a problem if it wasn't for the pandemic happening right then and there. Because you would have had in-person tournaments, and in-person Soul Calibur 6 was still good.
I mean, it was also too before like the Bandai Namco learned how to do the right netcode. Netcode is all about what fighting games are about right now, just so you can play with other people. But yeah,
the rollback netcode.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of funny that a group added it to Melee, yet Smash Ultimate can never have it.
Smash sucks online. I won't even bother touching it. Oh God. Yeah.
Unless you're playing Melee. Unless you're playing Melee on Project Slippy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that leaves just James with his number 2.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm even debating in my head. Is it number 3? Is it number 2? I don't know. Okay. Well,
switching it up on the fly.
It's number 2. I have to commit. But this is maybe the first controller that I ever fell in love with. I think this is the first time where I was like, this controller is literally me. It's literally for me. And before this, it was like a controller was just there.
Was it a Darth Vader controller?
I actually don't have a Darth Vader controller. I have an honorable mention that's similar to that. But anyway, this is a prime true controller. This is the first controller that I was like, I love this controller. I recognize this controller as something I want to marry. And I am talking about the Xbox Controller S controller.
Yes.
The one I showed
That's
earlier.
on my honorable mentions.
I love this controller. I'm so nostalgic. This is the era where I was a diehard Xbox fan. I would be getting into console war fights. I love the Xbox, and a lot of it stems from loving this controller. I respect the Duke. I get it because the Duke is so diehard Xbox, but I don't like using it. And I love this. I loved how PlayStation fans would say, this controller is too big for my hands. And I'm like, that's why I love it. It's so big. Just to quickly say, this is the
But it's not even the Duke.
Yeah,
I know, and they still said it was too
much
big.
smaller than the
but I love it. And this is the recently released Hyperkin Duchess controller. So they re-released the Duke as the Dutch, and then they made the controller S as the Duchess. Kay got this for me, and I love it. I honestly love this so much that I have trouble using it because I want it in perfect condition. So I used it for a few times.
It's a wireless one, right?
It's wireless. I believe it's wireless. Oh no, it's wired. No, wait, can it be wireless? I don't remember. I think it can.
I thought it could be wireless. I remember selling this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it can be wireless, but it says wired on the back, but I don't know. I have it wireless currently. But the big make or break for me was like, well, there was no left bumper, right bumper on the original. They do add a left bumper and a right bumper. And so you got those as buttons there, including the black and white button. The first thing I did, because I got this for Christmas from Kay, is I booted up Halo 2 on the Master Chief Collection. I synced this to the Xbox, and I'm like, look, I've played a lot. I can play Halo at any point on the original Xbox and get the impact, but I haven't had a multiplayer match with a controller S since the Xbox era. And I went back in Halo 2. We went into I don't remember the map name, but yeah, what's the one, the tower one that's snow and night side? Is it not Sidewinder? It's the popular Team Slayer.
I know which one you're talking about. I don't know.
Yeah,
and I know the Halo 3 name was Blackout.
Was it Blackout? Yeah,
that one.
Oh, it's bugging me. But anyway, went into that. For
Lockout.
Lockout. Yes.
Yeah. Went into Lockout, and it was like I got teleported right back into 2004. That was crazy. But yeah, anyway, back to the original. I love this controller so much. Opposite of Jason, as soon as they moved the analog up, and this kind of revolutionized shooters for me, the dual analog shooter. Obviously, GoldenEye started it. That showed you could do shooters on console, but Halo kind of perfected it, and I think a lot of it is owed to this controller. It's like, wow, you can actually have a great perfect time with a shooter on console with a controller here. That is crazy. The triggers so nice, so tight, over like the PlayStation. I loved it being like a gun trigger. I thought the black and white buttons were awesome because I was a big fan of custom soundtracks, so these were often previous.
Well, what's funny is that the Duke controller, the original Duke, it had them above the Y and the
Up,
B button.
Yeah,
So it
up
made
at
it
the
had a
top.
6-button
Oh,
button
yes.
controller output.
That's why the Duke isn't on this, and this is my number 2. But yes, I love
Wait,
the.
you don't like
I,
the 6-button controller figure?
I do not like. I don't like anything about the Duke apart from its nostalgia. But I love this. But yeah, I love the black and white button and how like white would usually be flashlight. It would just make sense. The black button was like your map or something extra, whereas the face buttons were like your kind of prime buttons. Everything about this was great, and I love it. And honestly, again, it's 3 and 2 between this and the 360, but this has less drawbacks, and I'm more nostalgic for this one. So I don't really have anything bad to say about the controller S.
I don't know if
It's
the
kind of a
D-pad is better or worse than on the 360.
I think I prefer the controller S. I think, but it's
What
they're
about
neither.
They're both
D-pad
equally
on that?
trash.
Yeah, I don't know
How's
if
the
they're
D-pad
equal.
on that one?
It's very similar to the original, if you can see it. So
Okay.
it's very much like the original. This is like a 1-to-1 apart from the triggers that it added, but it's
Because
super
that
tight,
D-pad's a
super
lot better
well-made.
than the one that was on the Duke. That thing was the D-pad was awful.
The Duke sucked. But yeah, I'm just super nostalgic for this controller. Also, it turned the plastic into the game guide button, so you can now press this in if you get the
nice.
Duchess. So it's fully functioning. You can use this on an Xbox Series X easily.
Nice. Is it
but-
for wired? Is it USB-C?
Yeah, yes, it's
Okay.
a US. It comes with a cable, and you can see it right there.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, USB-C, USB to USB-C. But I'm just so nostalgic for this. It's the first controller I fell in love with. It's the first time I recognized a control. Like I played a lot of games before then, but I was never like, I love the PS1 controller, and that's valid. But I love the PS1 controller. I love this controller. It was like, no, I love the Xbox controller, and I thought I was going to be gaming on this controller forever. Absolutely loved it. And it was just revolutionary. I have so many memories with the controller S, now called the Duchess. I love the name the Duchess. That is a lot more cute and adorable than the controller S. So I will call it the Duchess from here on out. But it's perfect. And I do think now that I'm putting them side by side, I got both of them right here. I do think there is less, even though this is required for that era, like all the revolutionary stuff it did, game guide, all that stuff. But there's less flaws, I would maybe say, if you put them neck and neck with the controller S. So more nostalgia, more love, and less flaws. I love the controller S. Thank you for bringing shooters to console and Halo and everything. You were beautiful. I love you every day. Mwah.
Yes, I haven't used the Duchess, but the S was on my.
Oh, they're 1-to-1. Yeah, if you end up
Okay.
getting it, if you love the controller S, you will not be disappointed. It's great. It's a throwback. Like you will be like, oh my god, I am playing a modern Xbox game with the 2002 controller. It's wild. But yeah, so just be warned for that.
So, all right, catch up here a little bit on chat because DJ Direwolf has been going off on this one. When he was talking about using the arcade stick with a Zoom drop, he was referring to Dead or Alive, not Ninja Gaiden, because Ryu is in both. I've not played Dead or Alive really, so that was not what I thought of. I thought Ninja Gaiden, because you could play it with Ninja Gaiden, but it makes more sense to play Dead or Alive since it's an actual fighting game. So, thank you for that reminder. But he says the Xbox S controller with a heart. I think earlier he said that was his second favorite controller.
It's my second too.
Is his love.
I love it.
So, hey, we got BD Jake in chat. What's up, Jake?
Oh.
How's it going? I mentioned you earlier when we were talking about controllers because we were talking about Rock Band and stuff. So I was giving you a shout out. The baseline Xbox One controller, which is essentially the same. This is the Series X controller. The only difference is it's got the share button. The Xbox One controller doesn't have that button. So, the Duke. Did anybody here actually like the Duke?
I like
again,
6 buttons.
I like what it represents. More than anything, it's like the Duke is Xbox. Even more than like this. So
Yes.
it's like
I'm pretty sure people with really big hands actually like it.
I have really big hands, and I don't like it. I don't like the buttons being smushed in together. I don't like the Audi thumbsticks. The thumbsticks are an Audi, not an
Yes,
innie.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And the triggers feel cheaper, and so it's really the Audi, and like it's got a weird rotund shape. And yeah, I don't like the buttons being smushed.
What's funny is a lot of the other controllers we talked about have an Audi.
I don't think any of mine.
Oh, GameCube does.
Let me see. Oh wait, Wii U does. But I said I didn't like it for the controller. And the Explorer doesn't have any thumbsticks at all. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I also, for full disclosure, I didn't get an Xbox at launch. I started on the S.
The
This is
Wii
what
remote
Same,
does.
same here.
Yeah, so
James,
I'm
the
nostalgic.
Wii remote, the nunchuck, has an Audi.
Oh, that's true. It does.
And I hate it. So there you go. So yeah,
So.
I do hate that controller. So.
Yeah, we don't like the Duke, but apparently BDJ
I respect
does,
it.
and he's got big hands, so that definitely makes sense.
I respect it.
That was always
the
the
way
excuse when I
Bird-
was played.
Wade Bird, BD Jake, that was my number 2. So, like the stream nerds. Always good to see you, Jake. Hope you're doing well. Oh yeah, and Dire Wolf was talking about how Sigma's levels are usually easier than Ninja Gaiden Black because of enemy density. So, but yeah, we'll see how I fare on Sigma when I eventually get to it. So, and he also says that he felt when you were talking about the playing Halo 2 with the Duchess was very nostalgic for you. So I felt the same way with the Duchess when I played Ninja Gaiden 2 Black all night. Felt like I was back in the 2000s again.
It's
Very
so
nice.
nice. Yeah, Hyperkin is killing it. Like I love what Hyperkin is doing. So they are the new Mad Cats, the new kings, if you will. Which Mad Cats is still around. They don't get any of the press, which is crazy.
Oh yeah, okay. And I think Kay is talking about the Duchess is only $50. That's pretty good.
It's cheap. It works great. It's super solid. If you're nostalgic for Xbox, it's awesome. Kay also got me one of the collectible Dukes just to have, and it's even if for collector's purposes, is even more awesome than the Duchess. I don't use it because I just shat all over it. But when you plug it in, the center is blank, and you're like, why is it blank? I wish I brought it.
It's like a small screen, isn't it?
It's a little screen, and when you press it, it does a GIF of the Xbox startup, like the green orb.
It doesn't have the sound though, does it?
No sound.
Okay.
No, I don't
the
believe
sound of that boot, the original Xbox boot up, is like
so nostalgic.
Yeah.
So I love it just as an Xbox fan. That's why I don't like shitting on the Duke, because it's like I like what you represent, but I hate using you. That's what the S is for. But yeah.
So, all right. And with that, we'll get into our honorable mentions before we get to our number ones. So, shoot, I think I'll go ahead and start off because we've already mentioned a few of mine. The Gibson Explorer guitar, but I didn't want to have that and my drum controller, so I put that to the honorable mentions. My cheap Switch third-party controller, which I got from China for like $30. I freaking love this thing a lot.
What's on the front of that?
It looks like the Razer logo.
Oh, okay.
But when I'm playing pretty much anything that's not Xbox on my streams, it's usually this that I'm playing with. Like when I'm doing Dread or any of my retro achievement games, it's got turbo on it, which is great.
You cheater.
It's got paddles. Yeah. It's got 2 paddles, you add paddles to a controller. That's definitely always a +1 in my book. I like this thing.
So you like the Switch 2 controller?
The Switch 2 controller. Whoa, wait.
But I haven't played it yet since it's not out yet. So,
but it has paddles.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the Switch 2 Pro controller is going to have paddles, which is why I'm like I might skip it because I don't like paddles. They distract me, so I might just stick to the Pro one. We'll see.
So, and then of all of the baseline controllers for original Xbox 360, Xbox One, and Series, the Xbox One /Series one, this is my favorite of all the baseline controllers. It's the first one that actually had a excellent D-pad. I've never had any problems with the shoulder buttons on these things, and
that's because you're not playing a game that's asking you to press them like once every actually multiple times in a second.
And a lot of times when there are games that use them heavily, I'll remap them to the face buttons, like I did with the Dark Souls.
Yeah, it's not a good idea to do that for Warframe.
So, let's see here. What else I got here? Switch. Oh yeah, and the S controller that we were just talking about. I don't have one, but I love that one. And then I forgot I even had this, so I was thinking about controllers, and I literally pulled it out today. Most people hate the N64 controller, which I don't blame them. I was not a huge fan of the N64 controller as well because it makes no sense having 3 prongs, but you only have 2 hands.
Monkey.
This is the collector's edition Donkey Kong 64.
I have that exact same one with the DK, and it's got the bananas on it. I have that one somewhere. I pulled it out for a previous stream.
The banana and
banana. But
I actually always liked the 3 prong because it made it so that you could use either the D-pad or the control stick. and it even had a 6-button layout.
So for me,
It's just kind of sad that none of those fighting games came out for the N64 because it actually had the button layout for it.
Play Mortal Kombat Trilogy. I don't know any others.
And the D-pad actually
Yeah.
doesn't feel bad on the N64 controller. It was so not used that you never really understood why it was there.
But anyways, where I was going with that is not the default N64 controller. I never bought. I think someone just gave this to me like as a gift, but it makes a lot more sense. And it's the Interact MakoPad 64. And it actually makes sense because it's only 2 prongs, and you can do everything all from the same place. And it's got your Z button, it's got your shoulder buttons, you got your D-pad, your joystick,
I
and all
want
your face
that.
buttons. And it was great. I spent most of my N64 time playing with this controller. I think it still works too. And it also has a turbo button. I think the only thing I ever used it for was Star Fox 64.
Disgusting.
But yeah, this was what I spent all my time playing N64 with because it made a lot more sense than a standard N64 controller. So
I don't think I
people
knew that
always-
existed. That looks great. I want one now. Oh
yeah,
my
so people
goodness.
always, bag on like, you get the crappy third-party Mako or Mad Catz controller. It's like, I wanted this. You can have the first-party
Yeah.
N64 controller. I'm sticking with this thing because it was great.
But I mean, one thing about this exact controller, is that look how good the condition the stick is in. I'm pulling on this and it's not moving.
Oh, and that
It's a great analog, yeah, and it requires a
When
blood
it-
sacrifice.
When it works, it's really great. And this is actually one of those controllers that works. I don't even want to use it because of that.
It's too perfect.
Another thing.
Well, it's also because it's a special edition controller that this controller by itself is like a couple $100
I did not know that. I've got
because it's
mine
the
tucked away somewhere.
Donkey Kong 64 controller.
Where did you get yours?
Local game store.
Okay. I mentioned it on, I think it might have been on a Town Square, but I got mine because it was a Nintendo Power subscription enticement bonus. So if you sign up for a year game Nintendo Power, you got that banana.
That's the
controller.
reason why it's a lot of money, is because that was the only way you could get it.
So that's how I got that one. I think that's also why I have a gold N64 controller, because they gave one of those out as a Nintendo Power bonus as well.
And that one's not nearly as crazy because it's,
Yeah,
I
that
think
one wouldn't go into stores. Yeah.
yeah. I think there was also the gold N64 that was sold. That I think it came with that one.
Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, speaking of Outies and innies, the default N64 controller was an Outie. This one is an innie, so it's concave, not convex.
I bet you it doesn't feel as good to play Super Mario 64.
So I like that better. It's still rough, so you're gonna tear your thumb up with it just like you would on a standard N64 joystick. But I do like the concaveness rather than the convexness of the standard N64.
To be honest, I
The
never really tore my
N64.
thumb up. It was only when I was playing Mario Party.
Mario Party, yep.
It
And that was the
requires the
palm of my
blood
hand.
sacrifice.
So, and then a quick shout out to the Kinect, but
You trying to see
With-
if you have any scars?
with a
Oh, I do. I have the
giant,
stigmata.
a giant asterisk. The Kinect solely for the 360 version of Skyrim. That is it. Because playing that game with the voice commands was a game changer. But other than that, no. But for Skyrim specifically, the Kinect was fantastic. Literally the best implementation of the Kinect ever. It doesn't even use the camera. It's just for the microphone. So, yeah, those are my honorable mentions. And yeah, a lot of people, the stick screwed up my thumb real bad. Didn't like it. Direwolf says, holy crap, blast from the past. I used to use those love it for FPS games, says Jake. That's a weird N64 controller, but it looks way more usable. Exactly. Thank you, Nightmare. And Kay is a big fan of the original N64 controller. Okay. Kay needs 3 hands to play 3 houses, so it makes sense. Good point, Nightmare. Good point.
And one
She's
thing
gonna-
about this
she's working on
controller is
growing the next
there was like one game that used this configuration, but it never came out in America.
Oh.
It was that Sin and Punishment game, because you would use the D-pad to move your character, and you use L to jump, but you'd use the right stick to move where the reticle was on the screen,
Oh,
and
wow.
you use the Z button to shoot.
Thank you for mentioning that, because I totally just forgot about it until you just mentioned it. Probably one of the only times I ever actually used the D-pad was in Shadows of the Empire, because you could go into there was a way to go into like a cheat mode, and you could control, like on the first level, you could control the Wampas, but you're still the camera's still following Dash Rendar, but you can control a Wampa by using the D-pad and the joystick to control Dash Rendar. But you have to be close enough to see him in order to control it because the camera's not following the Wampa, the camera's following Dash Rendar. So that was one of the few times I used the D-pad. But Angry Canadian says it never feels good to play Super Mario 64.
Tell that to all the speedrunners.
Yeah. So, the Kinect was an extremely cool piece of tech. I had a project in college for autistic kids with it. That's awesome. Sweet. Yeah.
And I know doctors use it for things because it keeps them sterile.
Yeah. They don't have to take their gloves off and they can like move around like x-rays and stuff while they're in the middle of
that
surgery.
kind of sterile. Okay. I thought like the drink too many Mountain Dews kind of sterile. It's like, what did the Kinect do to me? Oh, God.
Hey, I'm trying to keep the innuendos alive during this one.
Oh,
you should.
Snap says Sin and Punishment. What an underrated gem. So it sounds like he played it.
I think it did get released on the NSO though. So
I think
you can play it now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't have my Switch around me. I'm just covered in Wii's, but yeah. I do.
I mean,
yeah, I think so.
I wouldn't be able to find it because I don't pay for the online because I don't use it.
Yeah, same.
It's kind of useless, but I pay for it. Well, I have a friend that does the family thing, and he gets it. It's my Christmas gift to me every year. He's like, "I covered your thing again. Merry Christmas." So that's what I do.
I'm intentionally ignoring Angry Canadian for his last comment. So, with that, let's go to another achievement hunter friend of mine, dude. What are your honorable mentions?
My last, I'll probably talk about 3 controllers here with the honorable mentions, and these are more like just oddities. But
thank you, Jason.
Here is a PlayStation controller that I found.
Oh, I've seen that before.
Fishing
Never
controller.
played it, but
is it actually fun? I've always wanted to use that.
I never used it, but I just bought it. And I was like, I want to use it one of these days. But it is a PS1 controller.
I want it. I will stream with that. I need to find one.
I can totally see James getting really into it and like wearing getting a whole redneck outfit and get the wicker hat and get a big long piece of wheat and be like, boy, howdy, we're going fishing today.
If for the right fishing games, I love fishing games. They're so fun. They're a weird mix of stressful and relaxing that you don't get anywhere else. Fishing games are so good.
Ooh. And YouTube, this is a plastic controller.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna put that on my honorable mentions, but I played it like one time, so
gotta give the old zapper.
I did like playing Duck Hunt.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can hear that, can't you?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Classic.
Along the lines, I did use a Super Scope one time as well over at my friend's house, but I don't remember. There were like barely any games that used it.
Now this last one, I'm gonna need to move my mic.
Oh, is this the one?
Steel Battalion, I'm assuming.
The Beast.
This was on mine as well. Honorable.
Yep, I want that so bad.
Yeah.
I want to play
Same.
Steel Battalion.
When I went to SGC, they had a Steel Battalion set up. It was great. And don't press that! No, God, you nuked Africa.
You know, he just ejected.
No, it's a self-destruct button.
Oh, that is the self-destruct button. Okay.
Or it is the eject.
Someone in playing Steel Battalion in Africa just got nuked.
JB is here. What's up, JB? He says fishing with a fishing controller, so pedestrian. Now 100% Quake 2 with it.
That sounds like something Stop Skeletons from Fighting would try to do.
Yeah, that would be funny to watch someone play the first-person shooter with a
But you know, there's actually a convention that they actually have like 10 of these set up so that you could do the multiplayer with it.
That's awesome.
But I do have the foot pedals. But I just didn't bring it out.
Yeah.
See, I've always thought that was cool, but I mean, I don't have one, and I would love to. But like, I wanted the the Sega virtual on stuff. I wanted the whole virtual on controller and everything like that.
Maybe whenever Retro Achievements finally gets Xbox original available on it, maybe I'll find a way to hook up that controller to my computer and play Steel Battalion that way.
And get Retro Achievements for it. That'd be awesome. So, all right. Was that all your honorables?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I should have shown the PS3 and the PS4 controller off while I was talking about the PS5 controller, but forgot to pull it out.
Okay.
And this is a 6-axis, actually.
Oh, you
Okay.
can do all the
Is
wavy
there-
stuff.
So it doesn't have this one does not have the rumble, and
Hmm.
it's later. I just brought it out because it was black.
Oh, is that all?
James, what about you?
Who, me? All right, honorable mentions. Okay, let's go. I only have physically one of my honorable mentions, but I'm going to run these off here real quick here. Up first is the unreleased Steam controller. Not the Steam controller that they did release, the unreleased one, and they pretty much made an announcement and said it would be too expensive to produce it, so they scrapped it. But originally it was going to have like if you look at this here, pretty much the main reason I liked it was this middle section was going to be a small screen and it was going to be customizable, like even users could customize it to do pretty much whatever you wanted. Imagine you're playing Doom, it could show your little Doom guy there in the HUD and it would tell you your health and ammo. They showed RTS games where it would be like you could swipe through your units and like tap it to like do those units and all that stuff. So it was kind of I thought it was going to be so cool, similar to why I like the Wii U. It was like pretty much having a little Wii U in a normal controller. But then they scrapped it because too much money.
Is it the one with like instead of having joysticks, it had like touchpads?
Yeah,
That's
so
the one that came out.
That's the one that
okay.
came out. This one was also going to have the touchpads, but it was pretty much, if you look up like Steam unreleased controller, yeah, as long as you see the screen in the middle, that's the one. But yeah,
I looked it up. I'm not finding it.
I
So I
will
wanted to
I
show
will
it.
find. Where is? Oh my god! Don't tell me I'm crazy. I know that it exists. I was there, Gandalf. But they scrapped it super early, and they were like super transparent about it. That it's like this cost. Oh, there it is. Okay, hold up.
You got
hold
it?
up. Yeah, I will. This is a small picture, but I'll send it to you. There you go.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
But
just
on the
share
on
your
the
screen
right
and click.
there, on the right is the version that they scrapped.
Oh,
So you-
okay. I did see this one. I just
Yeah.
thought this was the one that you were talking about that did come out. So let me go ahead.
That Steam logo is oh, here, this might be a better photo of it here. So yeah, the one on the right there. Here's a bigger one. Yeah, you can see a bigger version of that there. But so you can see the screen there. And so it was pretty much going to be like the Wii U gamepad, but it was going to be all with the touch stuff. It was really just the little gamepad element that I liked it. Up next is the
it's much better.
Yeah. See,
That's
like
a weird controller.
that's why I thought I could love it. It was either going to be terrible or amazing, and probably terrible, but I thought it was going to be so cool. My next honorable mention is the 2004 Nintendo GameCube controller SpongeBob edition. And then my next honorable mention is the PS3 Boomerang controller.
Oh,
This
I
is
remember
another-
that one.
And this is just because what were they thinking? That was so funny. Let's just completely mess F our.
It probably would have been better than the one that they actually released.
Maybe, but it was like they were gonna go with it, and then they just didn't commit. After that is the Jax TV plug-in controller SpongeBob edition, where you use SpongeBob's nose to control. After that is the Steel Battalion controller that dude showed off there. We
That's
love
not
it.
really a controller. That's an actual console,
Well,
like any portable console.
The controller is SpongeBob's nose, and I think his eyes are the button. And then after that is the SpongeBob PlayStation 2 controller.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Here's the theme, and this is the only one I have that's an honorable mention. This is my PS3 Arkham City controller. I got this
nice.
because it was pretty much what if we had a 360 controller on the PS3. So I'm like, ooh, I want this for Resistance and Killzone, so I can play shooters that way. And it lights up. You can change it. The lights here are like blue or red. And you can see it's got the Arkham City logo.
No green for
back there.
Joker.
Might have been green. I'd have to plug it in. It uses like a little USB Bluetooth dongle. It honestly wasn't great, and it's like weirdly tight and kind of clunky. So I didn't end up using it. The triggers aren't great. I literally just bought it because I'm like, I like 360 controller, and it's bigger than the PS3 controller. So I wanted to like it. And last but not least, the Patrick Star from the hit show SpongeBob SquarePants show PS2 controller. And those are my honorable mentions.
I wish we could have seen all of those.
You saw one. Saw the Batman one. There you go.
That very much looks like Batfleck.
This
reminds me of Batfleck's suit.
Yeah, and this is before that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was Arkham City. Yeah, and it was weird to use, so I didn't end up using it that much, and I just went back to the standard PS3 controller. But the idea was there to be good, and I think my cat back in the day chewed on it or something, or I did in frustration, one of the two.
All right. And oh, JV's got a question. No SpongeBob mouse?
Oh, maybe you don't know what number 1 is.
Oh, that's true. Hey,
Yeah.
JB's with it. He says offset thumbstick supremacy. Yes, we were arguing about that earlier.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that too.
So all right, Jason, what about you for your honorable mention?
So yeah, it's more of a peripheral than a controller, but again, you can use it for stuff. It's in the background as well. DDR dance pad, huge fan.
There
There,
it
kids
is.
are playing it.
But
But yeah,
was asking about it earlier. He's like, has anybody mentioned it? It's like, not yet.
yep. Still have mine back there. I never got one of the really nice hard plastic ones. I always wanted one, but they were super expensive. So I got the next best thing. It was the nice padding one that could never roll up. So it always just kind of sat against the wall or anything like that. So there's that. And then ones we've talked about. I'm a huge fan of the Switch Pro controller. The battery life on that thing is silly on how long it lasts. And that's one of the nice things about it. Yes, there is a little bit of input delay on some games that you can kind of feel. I don't feel it as much, but I'm not as nitpicky as some people are about it. And then obviously,
my Pro controller is a wired controller, so I haven't noticed anything.
Yeah,
I think I haven't played my Switch enough.
Is there a wired and wireless Pro Switch controller?
The wireless, when they say there's like a tiny input lag, but I don't notice it that much, and that's on the wired one. But again, you have to figure on that. So, and then the GameCube, I like the Wavebird. But I just, for some odd reason, I like the original one better. But again, they're both the same, so I can't really say one's better than the other because they both kind of feel the same in a way. But yeah, the original GameCube controller, I've had so much time with that. I thought I was gonna hate it because again, the SNES controller was my favorite, but I hated the N64 controller. And then when they did the crazy button, I was like, "What am I looking at?" And then it made sense. One button is like, here's your action button, which is A, and everything's around it. And if you kind of play it, it's almost like a Super Nintendo controller anyway. It just has one bigger button. So I was like, okay, this isn't too bad.
Just instead of the center button being B, it's now A.
Right. But yeah, those would be my honorable mentions. I have a few more, but we pretty much talked about them.
Okay. And Canadian is rubbing at my face. He said that Jason is now his new favorite. All right.
Well, according to Angry Canadian, you're not a person either. Anyways.
Yeah, that's true. So
dehumanized you. He's gonna put you in the camps for liking achievements.
All right. Well, with that will bring us to our number 1 favorite controllers.
You know what? I should go first because Jason just talked about it.
All right, you go first.
GameCube.
GameCube. All right.
I am a GameCube supremacist when it comes to controllers.
It is a great controller. Yeah.
I mean,
I talked about it earlier.
There's a reason why this controller is still able to be played on modern consoles. That USB hub still works on the Wii U and the Switch. And what's crazy is that the Switch will treat it as a Pro controller, so you can actually play games with this original GameCube controller.
Nice.
So I was able to play Metroid Prime Remastered with an original GameCube controller.
That's awesome. No, it's great. Like I said when it was brought up earlier.
Want to?
Yeah. Well, I love the new Prime controls, but I love Smash on Ultimate.
The thing is, though,
the game
Prime 1 and 2 were designed with those tank controls in mind. So I've always played them that way and I've played through them like at least once a year. Mm-hmm. So because of that, I'm so used to them.
Yeah, there's something to be said about muscle memory and all that stuff. Like it's the way to play. Like I mean, for like Halo and everything, I have to do it on controller because it's just that's what's burned into my brain.
And by the way, I have the extension cord, and then it also plugs into this device that allows me to plug it straight into my computer.
Nice.
Ooh.
That's how I was able to play all my GameCube games last year.
I like that dongle.
Yep. It's actually an 8-bit DOE one.
Yeah, it's super nice.
Sweet. Yeah, no, GameCube controller is the best way to play Smash, that's for sure.
I agree. Oh, well, we getting a big reveal here.
No, so this thing is, this thing's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's like $20-$30, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jason's got one too. Yeah, and it had nothing to do with the controller, but I didn't realize until playing Melee again last year for the first time in decades that the C stick only works in multiplayer, not in campaign, which is retarded. But I did figure out how to get that patch working so I can use the C stick in both modes.
Gotcha. But actually, something that's funny is I didn't even have when I was doing the emulator on stream, I didn't know that Sunshine. I didn't have the triggers done right. So because of that, I was actually handicapping myself the entire playthrough because the triggers are analog
Right.
until you fully press it and then it becomes digital.
Yeah. Does Sunshine make use of that?
Yes, it does make heavy use of it.
Okay.
It's why they had to do an update to the game to make the trilogy, the 3D All Stars.
Oh yeah, that's
They
when
didn't
they only had
actually-
available for a short period of time, right?
Yeah,
Like a year.
and what's crazy is that they did not actually account for the analog triggers in the game in the original GameCube controllers that people could plug into their Switches. So because of that, they didn't actually have it working correctly on an original GameCube controller.
Oh.
I hate that collection.
If they use it,
They had
heavily,
they did update that though, so it now works properly if you download the update.
Mm.
Okay.
So
yeah.
they did at least fix that.
I'll be playing Sunshine this year for the first time, thanks to Angry Canadian.
Good luck.
But
I've gotten all the achievements on stream, and it wasn't that bad.
well, yeah, but the controller that I mentioned, my little third-party Switch Pro controller, is what I use for all of my retro stuff. As I've mentioned on Achievement Chasers, these are digital, not analog. So if
Yeah.
it makes heavy use,
So you
of
might want to
analog
try and
triggers,
find a way to get. You might
I'll
want to
probably
get the
need to
dongle.
get that adapter so I can play it with my GameCube controller.
And I'll let you know if you do. I'll let you know how to set up your triggers properly.
Cool. So, all
And
right.
also, they didn't even account for this controller when they did the Metroid Prime Remastered, because they switched the X and Y buttons for the Pro Controller configuration, and you couldn't switch them back. There was no option to switch them back. So because of that, I had to during that playthrough, I had to remember that Morph Ball was the wrong button, and so was Missiles.
That's weird. So yeah, Canadian says I remember testing that out on day one, was shocked. And October Mike says Mario Sunshine. Yes, we were talking about Mario Sunshine.
But that was my
cases play it on GameCube, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Do not do the trilogy pack on Switch.
well, since he'll
Yeah.
be doing an emulator, he'll be technically playing the GameCube version.
yeah.
Yeah, that trilogy on the Switch is just that was how I beat all three of those games the first time. and
Apparently,
then I'm
Galaxy
like, why do
is
I
the
hate
best.
them?
Isn't Galaxy the best one?
It's the best, but it's still flawed. That was my favorite experience. But there was a boss that I encountered, and like the game's easy for me, but there was a boss where I'm like, this feels broken, and it's my first time playing it, but I'm like, they're not giving you enough time to beat this boss. There is something busted here. And it's just I don't know. All three of those games are a miserable experience through that collection. They straight up busted it. So yeah, stick to the sources with that one. Maybe I need to replay Sunshine on GameCube. Maybe I'll like it then, because it was pain on that 3D collection.
This is the only controller that works with Super Mario 64.
Yeah.
And it's because this control stick that game is specifically designed with this control stick in mind.
Yeah, I beat it with the Pro Controller on the Switch, and I
Yeah,
regret
that's the
every day
reason
of
why
my
you had a
life.
bad time.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hey, Lowest Expectations here saying hello. What's up, Lowest Expectations? Canadian doesn't get the hate for the trilogy.
But I will extend this show forever. There's a lot of input lag with it, pretty much. And I had Kay verify it because I was just screaming at these beloved games, and then she tried it and she's like, "Oh my god!" She tried it recently on stream. She was like, "Which version do I play?" And it's like, "Nope, collection's still busted."
Switch 2 is about to have a better way of playing Sunshine.
Oh yeah, NSO. If they don't mess that up, hopefully
No,
they don't.
it still doesn't have retro achievements, so it's not the best way to play it.
Oh no, you're gonna trigger everyone.
Not trigger me.
JB's got a good one. If you're going by names alone, the Thrustmaster Pro is easily number one. That is a great name for a controller.
Hell, yeah, that's true.
So, all right. Let's see here. Yeah, dude's number one. Oh shoot, I forgot to write down James is number two.
Controller S, Duchess.
That's right.
But the Controller S, right, if you want to be specific, not the Duchess, but it's a Duchess to me. Damn it.
So, all right. What about you, James? What's your number one? Kennedy says, Neo, I hate you. If it doesn't have achievements, then it's the inferior way to play it.
It is.
All right.
Because if you don't like achievements, just don't worry about them. But if you like achievements, why would it matter if there's achievements in it?
Do you want this show to be
Lawyered.
5 hours? I will debate anyway.
Sorry, go ahead, James.
I'm gonna make you mad in a different way, not achievement related right now.
And
In
lowest
fact,
expectations, yes, that was on James's top 5.
Yeah, it was an honorable mention for me.
it was number 4 for me, the Wii U gamepad. But let's talk about my number 1, because this is gonna make a lot of people mad. As soon as I was asked to be on this show, or asked if I wanted to be on this show, I already knew what my number 1 was, and I knew it was going to be controversial. And I know that some people will agree with me and other people will throw their stones. But I just want to remind you that what I'm about to say is the truth. And they may hate me because I speak the truth, but this is the best controller of all time. I can't even show it to you right now, and I'll get to that in a second. Most adaptable controller, elite, supreme authority all of other controllers. I'm botching my own promo here.
Xbox adaptive controller?
I can't show you because you're using it right now. Dude's using it right now. Jason's
Disgusting.
using it right now.
No, it's
I'm
not.
using it right now.
Does not count.
The best controller of all time is the mouse and keyboard.
I can't use it.
All hail the mouse and keyboard. It is the most
Not a
adaptable,
controller.
most accessible controller. It works for everything. It's the elite way to play. It's the best for shooters. It's the only way to play RTS.
My head will
games.
literally cramp after 10 minutes of using it.
So
that
will
way.
mine. That's why I got a titty mouse pad. I got the
That
this
doesn't
is
help
my-
me.
She helps me a lot. Trust me. She helps me. My God, you don't know the way she helps me. But she's very nice padding. So it's true, folks. It's the supreme way. PC Master Race wins.
So we're never bringing back on the show. Mouse and keyboard definitely is not going to be. No, go ahead.
It's the best. It's the best. I control the games with the mouse and keyboard. Therefore, it's a controller. I'm able to put the Explorer on there. Therefore, it is the best. So there you go. It will never be topped. Many have tried to do it. They've tried to tear us down by making crossplay a thing and adding auto aim into our shooters, but still, it will never.
Well, on
it'll never
consoles,
be
it was
beaten.
already there.
I know, but they've just don't get me onto that argument. I'll be here all
Thing
night.
is, though, the Halo 3 was the only one that is the game that did it the best. Aim assist.
I remember the audio aim in Halo 1 drove me nuts.
The auto aim in Halo. I never had a problem with any of the auto aim in Halo, but I was just trying to wrap my head around that. But yes, there you go. So anyway, that's
Metro Being Monday last night. I mentioned that tonight is top 5 controllers, so we were talking about that, and someone brought up mouse and keyboard. I'm like, that doesn't count because it's not a controller. And people are like mouse and keyboard supremacy. It's like there are plenty of games where a controller is far superior to a mouse and keyboard.
There
Ninja
is
Gaiden.
now, but it's still it's what PC gamers have been
Racing
using to
games,
control.
any sort of hack and slash game.
I can use WASD to play a racing game and it'll work fine. I can get it to work. That's the thing, is the customization here is crazy. Even if it's
Although
not
when
the
I was
ideal way
younger,
to
I did
play.
actually play Mugen on the keyboard.
Mugen. Oh, okay. I can feel the
I
hate.
wonder how many
As soo-
people here know what Mugen is.
I don't-
soo-
oh, it's
as-
that.
I'm
it's
pretty
that
sure Jason
fighting
knows
one.
what it is.
I know about it because Carl had Mugen Lord on his show, and he was talking about like it's that fighting like platform where you can make your own characters and stuff. Dude, you've told me about it before.
Yep. And I learned how to play Marvel vs. Capcom because of Peter Griffin.
And Paul says, "I'll allow it." You don't get to allow anything. You're not the host.
As soon as I came
Because
on
of the way
pre-show,
Peter Griffin worked, it worked like Marvel vs. Capcom characters.
as soon as Kay told me I'm going to be on top 5 controllers, I'm like, well, mouse and keyboard is the best. So you can't top it. It's been the #1 gaming for PC since ever. And then as soon as I came into the pre-show, Neo's like, mouse and keyboard doesn't count, by the way. And I went, oh no, this ain't good. This ain't good. But if you're a PC gamer, if you played Doom back in the day, if you played Quake back in the day, if you played any RTS ever, or just really anything back in the day, you know that mouse and keyboard is the bread and butter, and it's the way to go. So there you go. I get it's my pick. It's a controller because I use it to control the games. It works. The silence is deafening. They hate it. I've botched their show. Good night, everybody.
I'm sorry, I don't like using the tools I use for work. Play.
Well, I will take mouse and keyboard for games that like absolutely like require it, but if it doesn't require it, then I'm going to use a controller. But I'm a filthy console peasant.
That's fine. I like controller for a lot of games, but I still also like mouse.
Yeah, well,
and keyboard.
PC
I'm
doesn't get
adapted.
physical releases anymore, and you don't own your games anymore.
That's okay. I prefer digital for PC anyway. I've never been a big box fan. They take up too much space in their cardboard. So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. That's okay. Oh no. Oh, everyone fight. Let me know, chat. Is it a controller? Is it a tool? I think it's a tool for gaming. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm not as old as JB, but whenever I talked about mice on my PC, they had balls in them.
Yeah, I remember taking
remember
them
playing
out
with
of my
those
coworkers, and they'd be like, "Why is my mouse working?" I'd just be over the corner like snickering. All right, Jason, do you want to go or do you want to finish it off?
No, I can go.
All right.
All right, now mine's gonna be pretty easy. I kind of hinted.
There's a ball.
Yeah, right. I take those things out and clean them all the time.
Oh, that's the Super Nintendo mouse.
Yep, it has a map ball. I don't really take it apart, but you can actually easily take it out.
But yeah, no, my
Yes, Mom does funny.
number. Yeah, my number one's easy. I collect a bunch of them. I have a few of them right here. I use this one for every game I play, pretty much, unless it's on my PS5. But the DualShock 4 to me is the best controller, best feeling controller, best everything controller I've ever held. There is the one flaw that the dude did bring. I do wish it didn't have the micro on top. That does suck. But everything else about this controller, even with like the very not long-lived back paddle thing that connects right to it where you can change stuff, is absolutely fantastic. It fits right there, and like it's so nice and to use. But I mean, yeah, this is the one I was talking about that I tore apart before, because the D-pad is okay, but I like my D-pads to be their own buttons. So I installed that on this one so I can use stuff there. And then, yeah, these guys are just a little bit more other stuff controllers that, came out with it. But yeah, PS4 controllers, anytime there was one I would buy. This is those two are my favorite, just because I like any see-through blue controller that ever comes out, I usually buy. That's just my favorite. As we can see, I have pretty much a see-through blue controller for every system. But yeah, this controller, I never thought I was going to like it as much as I did, and then it just grew, and then I don't know, it just fits my hand perfectly. It does everything. Shooters, D-pad, fighters, anything. This is a controller I'm usually playing with anytime I play a video game.
And can you plug that one into a PC and use it on your computer as well if you want to?
Yep. I use this one. Yep.
Just because it's USB, it's that micro USB. It's terrible to keep it plugged in.
Oh, it's micro USB, not USB-C.
Yeah.
That's only the issue. But like I said, yeah, this is literally the control. Like you said, yeah, these two right here are literally the two controllers I'm using anytime you see me play a video game.
Since I know Linux tends to have an issue with Bluetooth, I always just keep my controllers plugged in.
Same.
So because of that, I cannot keep the PS4 controller plugged in to save my life.
Yeah, no, I've never had that issue with this guy. As long as you buy a really good cord, like this one right here, like it clicks in really well. Like I've never had any issues with mine. Hopefully, I don't ruin anything. But yeah.
So you prefer it to the PS5 one?
Yes.
Okay. What is it? What does it got that the PS5 one don't?
It's not as wide. Like
Oh, okay.
As you look at it, you can just see the bottom handles here a little bit smaller.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you see.
Yeah, if you just hold them, you can kind of feel the weight difference too. So if you hold the DualSense, like you get a little bit gripper there, but it's just a little bit more heavier. But if you grab like a PS4 one, it just, I don't know if it's the roundness of the bottom, it just feels right. I don't know why.
The roundness of the bottom feels right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think I've always had my hand cramp when I'm using a PS4 controller.
See, I have my hand cramp on this guy.
It's the reverse for me.
Yeah.
What I like about the PS4 controllers, it's super adaptable. It's what I use on my PS1 Classic, where we tend to play all our PS1 games, and it just works plugged in right out of the gate. I don't know if the PS5 also does that. I haven't really tried.
Probably should be able to.
Yeah, I've noticed the PS4 is it's very plug and play, and it'll adapt to a lot of things. So that's what I like about it. But I could try the PS5. I'm afraid to. That thing is like so fragile. It might explode if I plug in a PS5 controller into it. But it works great with the PS4.
Here's my PS4 controller. I also have the PlayStation 1 edition as well, the one that's gray.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, and then like I said, anytime there's there's a clear white one I have somewhere over there, the clear red one that were stores things, and I have box version of this one and this one right here. And then obviously somebody just traded this in one day, and I was like, you know what? I don't have this one. I don't care for the game very much, but I was like, I gotta add it. This is the
I was just gonna ask the same thing.
The Death Stranding one.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not. The game's whatever. It's Hands Across America, but I'm not the biggest fan. But I was like, you know what? I need to add it so I can sit next to the 100 million unit one. And like I said, I have one in box and one out of box. So I don't know. Like, yeah, these are the controllers I collect just because, like I said, this and arcade sticks are like my 1 and 2. So.
All right. Yeah.
It's good.
I haven't used it, so don't know.
It's good. I like the big blue light on the back of it. It's kind of like it's like the game guide. It kind of tells you what player you are if you're playing locally.
Yep.
It's not like as in your face as like the Xbox one, which some people might prefer. But like if you're doing like, I think player 2 is like red, then that even works on the PS1 Classic. So like I use 2 PS4 controllers, and even on the PS1 Classic, it's like blue is player 1, red is player 2, which is crazy. So I'm able to tell easily who's who, which is nice.
Sweet. So, lowest expectations coming in with his list. Number 5, Super Nintendo. 4 is the OG Xbox. I'm assuming he's talking about the Duke, since he says 2003. So I'm assuming he's talking about the S, which is probably the one that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
the Duke would have been 2001.
Yeah.
The Wii U for number 2, GameCube, and number 1, the Switch Pro controller. Although he would put mouse and keyboard if it counted.
At number 0.
Number 0.
Yeah, I don't know if a 0 is a good or a bad, but I agree.
I'm assuming it means that would be his number 1 if it was allowed.
I take it as that's his 0. Like he gets 0 points.
It's the worst controller ever. It gets 0 points.
That's how I read it.
I love it. It's my childhood forever and ever.
So good list. All right. Well, that leaves it to me, and it's probably no surprise because I've talked about it on many a stream. I think we talked about it on Town Hall and over on James' channel. But I didn't say anything earlier while you guys were talking about it. Like at number, let's see here, dude had it on his honorable mentions, and shoot, you guys both had one though. But Xbox Elite Series 2. I think is the best controller ever. It's got swappable joysticks, so it gives you a couple different options.
The problem is it doesn't have the part that actually breaks is swappable.
Both joysticks. The
actual pentometers.
The what?
The actual part that actually registers what the control stick is doing.
Oh,
the part that actually causes the drift.
The drift. Okay, gotcha. But yeah, you can swap out your joysticks for ones that you like, and mine wore out because I got this second hand. And I've used it basically every day for, 3 or 4 years. And it's great. It's awesome. You can swap out your D-pad. There is like the circle one. I don't like that one as much because I don't do fighting games. But the D-pad is excellent. You can have up to 3 separate controller profiles for different mappings, which is awesome. So if there's games that I switch between often, and like Dude Souls, I had... it's not on right now, but Dark Souls was set to my number 2 because it uses the shoulder and the trigger buttons a lot, and I'm not going to do that for hack and slash, so I map those to X and Y so I could switch to that. And when I'm playing like Subnautica,
but then it messed up your menus.
Well, that's what I would do is, since it's so quick, I just hit the button to switch back to defoult when I'm in the menu, and then I just hit the button.
Then you sometimes forget.
Sometimes I would forget, but then I just quickly hit the button to switch back to my Dark Souls profile. For like Subnautica, instead of using the shoulder buttons to go up and down because you're underwater a lot, I mapped them left and right to the paddles back here because it's got 4 paddles, which is freaking amazing. I did like the paddles on the original Series 1 Elite a little bit better because they were a little bit bigger, but I've spent so many hundreds of hours with this. I have no problem with this as well. I love the paddles.
Do have it set for a Halo that I do have the A button as one of the paddles.
This one right here is almost always my A button because there are some games that are almost not actually required, but the Elite controller with paddles is almost required, like Doom Eternal, because it's so fast paced. You need to keep your thumbs on the joystick so you can be moving and aiming and like jumping and air dashing and using your flamethrower and using your chainsaw, basically all within the matter of like a second of each other. So being able to do that without having to, let go of where you're looking on here to hit the face buttons is fantastic. You got, your triggers have 3 different settings for your hair triggers. So
99% of the time, my LB and RB buttons are just mapped to the 2 paddles I have.
Okay, I
because I don't want to break my LB and RB buttons.
When I was looking at my Xbox accessories app a couple days ago, I probably have like 20 different controller mappings, and I have one that basically one that stays in slot A, like is for. That one stays there. It's just slot 2 and 3 are the ones that switch when I need to. But I've got like a bunch of different controller mappings for all sorts of different stuff. And you got 3 different levels of your trigger, like half and all the way, so you barely have to touch it to shoot. So I'll do that for any sort of shooting game. Whenever I'm playing Mass Effect or Halo, I basically always have the right trigger set to full, so I barely have to touch it to shoot. And that's on both triggers have that, although I rarely ever use it for left trigger. It's almost always just for the right trigger. And
main reason I don't use it is because I feel like I'm going to break the trigger.
Oh, and I didn't even. It's not the controller itself, but I didn't bring it. But they both had it. There's a case that it goes in, which is very nice for.
I didn't show it, but Jason did.
Yeah. Do you have your case handy? Because you plug the case in, and you don't ever have to charge the controller. You just put your controller in the case, and it charges as long as the case is plugged in. So it's very handy. You never have to worry about charging this, and the battery is great. Even when I don't charge it, it lasts for probably like 40 hours. But I put it on the charger basically every night. So the battery in it is great. And like I said, I got this second hand. So someone had this before me. The one and only, or not the one and only, I do occasionally have a little bit of stick drift, but it's not too bad to ruin any experience. My main issue also with the Series 1 is the rubber grips are starting to peel off.
Yeah.
Everything else, the controller is completely functional. That's my biggest issue. It just annoys the heck out of me that the rubber's peeling off.
At least
it still functions at 100%.
At least with the stick drift on these controllers, you can change the dead zone a little bit to help you out.
You can do that as well.
So
yeah, there's a lot of things when you go into the accessories.
There's eventually going to be a point where these things need to have their pentometers changed out, and that requires soldering.
Yeah, and when you go into the accessories app to remap it, there's all sorts of extra stuff you can do with settings that you can't do with a standard Xbox controller. One thing that I thought was that I will give them crap for, though, because it makes absolutely no sense, is that on the standard controller, you cannot remap your triggers, but on the Elite controller, you can. There's absolutely zero reason why you shouldn't be able to do that on a standard controller, but you can only remap your triggers on the Elite. I don't know why, but yeah, this thing is fantastic. And if I didn't have this, I would absolutely get the Doom Dark Ages Series 2 because that thing is awesome. The only thing, like I said earlier, is I just wish those buttons had those Sentinel runes rather than the ABXY like the standard.
I just want them to come out with a Series 3 with the Hall effect thumbsticks.
If they came out with a Series 3, which they'll probably will eventually, I will definitely upgrade to one of those because, like I said, I got the second hand and it has a lot of wear and tear, but it still works great. And I use it basically every day. So
yeah.
If the Series 3 doesn't come with Hall effects, I'm not buying it.
I would probably agree with you. So, but yeah, easily my number one, and I say it all the time. I think it's the best controller ever.
One thing I didn't say when I was mentioning mine is I think this tool, as weird as it sounds, is one of the most important tools with the controller.
I totally forgot about that. Thank you for.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, because I mean, changing the tightness of how you like the joysticks, everything like that, is just to have that as an option is so cool. So if you like yours to be super tight, like I kind of like mine to not have a lot of give, like it just snaps right back. You can, do that like I do. Or if you're like, oh no, I kind of want to be a little loose, you can just put that tool in here and kind of customize it there to make it a little bit however you like the feel of it. So
yeah, you can tighten your joysticks so they either move more or less depending on what you like. I totally forgot that was a thing because I did that when I first got it and haven't touched it since. But yes, there's that as well. So thank you. So Elite Series 2 is an excellent controller. Oh, Nightmare says he'll have 2 Elite Series 2 controllers once the Doom ones get here. Nice.
Oh my goodness.
So
well, I've had 3 Elite controllers. 2 of them have gone down to drift.
No, yeah, and like I said, I've used it every day for years, and it was secondhand. My you can still hear those are my shoulder
Some
buttons. They
elite
still work
ASMR
great.
for you all.
Well, mine still work because guess what? I don't use them.
Oh, because you map. Depending on the game, I will remap them to my paddles, but normally I'll just leave them the way they are. It just depends on the game.
It's just that because I know that the buttons in here are still like the regular Xbox One controllers, and so because of that, they are very brittle. They didn't
yeah.
upgrade. They didn't upgrade the Series to LB and RB buttons to whatever the Series controllers use.
Oh, okay. I still have my Series 1 controller, which I also got secondhand, and that same thing where the rubber is peeling off, but it still works. That one only had 2 controllers. It actually had a slot where a little toggle, you go right or left for 2 controllers. This one is just a digital one, so it really could be more than 3. You could put infinite on here as long as you had enough little lights to indicate it. But
my problem with the Elite 2 is that it came with the built-in battery.
Oh,
So
that's
whenever-
true. The
whenever
battery is
you-
great though.
It is good, but what happens when I need to change it?
Yeah, it's a good point. As we were talking about earlier with built-in batteries. But yeah, it took me a while to get used to paddles, but now I can't imagine not playing without them. Paddles are a game changer and they're fantastic.
Yeah, there's just too many negatives.
That's
For
how I feel
me
about
to-
these.
There's just too many negatives for me to put it that high, especially for
Not
how
for me.
expensive it is.
Okay, that's fair enough. Though, like, even if you're not into paddles, like just having a button for like Arkham games, for example, where A is sprint, same thing like the Assassin's Creed games, so you can hold A and still keep your thumb on the joystick and aim your camera rather than having to let off in order to sprint and not be able to control where you're looking. That's just a huge game changer right there alone. So yeah, probably no surprise to anyone since I do often talk about it, but my number one, definitely the Elite Series 2. And I'm assuming that once the Series 3 comes out, that'll probably replace the Elite Series 2 for my number one controller.
We hope.
Unless it's just a straight downgrade.
So, all right, Jason, you got you good to go?
I do. I got everything all set and ready to go.
Hey, Jason's
so-
been on a top 5 that didn't go for 5 hours.
Hey,
Okay,
we're getting there. We got an hour and a half one. We got a 2-hour one. Like we're getting there. People can actually watch the show and stay up the whole time instead of be like, wait, the show's still going on at 2:00 in the morning. How are they still talking about this one's five topics for 7 hours? Well, we're getting there. We're getting there for you guys. We hear your comments. We see them. We know you want to watch the whole show.
Games Part 2 to go
Yeah.
longer than the Switch Games Part 1.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we need. But yeah, our top 5 right now. We have a tie at number 5. Pains me to say this is tied with my DualShock 4, but the mouse and keyboard.
Yay!
Only
got
one person cheered.
supremacy on the
With the
board.
giant asterisk next to it.
Yeah, I did. Oh, I definitely did.
It's the best controller undefeated, baby. Let's
Yeah.
go.
All right. No, not according to our list. Number 4, we have the Sega Saturn. We have a tie for number 2 with the Xbox 360 and the Elite Series 2. And then our number 1, because I combined them a little bit just because I think it's fair to. But I put the GameCube /Wavebird. I put that as our number 1.
That's
Makes
fair
sense.
enough.
There you go.
It is pretty much the same controller for the same generation. So
Exactly. Yeah.
it'd be one thing if like you took like the GameCube controller that was redone for the Switch.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if there was something different, like I said, yeah, it's just the wireless version of what a try and true controller was. So I'm not going to penalize one of the controllers for not having it. If you have a Wavebird, you know how good the GameCube one was. They're together.
And I don't know what they did with these sticks, but all of my GameCube controllers, for the most part, still work.
Yeah.
The worst part about these sticks is the rubber on top of them.
They were.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, but that joystick though is a huge upgrade from the N64.
And it's even an upgrade from most modern controllers.
I like a lot of modern ones, so but
It's just more that they
Their
still
own.
work and they tend to not drift.
that's true. Yeah, good point. So, all right. Well, that'll bring us in here to the end of episode 30 of Top 5. We're ranking our top 5 favorite controllers. Thank you, everyone, for joining us in chat. And you guys for joining us on the panel. So let's go around and let everyone plug what they got going on. So, dude, what do you got going on that you want to mention?
Well, tomorrow I should be continuing my Ninja Gaiden Sigma playthrough. I'll be starting level 3 of Match from Ninja. And now that I know that I have to not continue from dying to get the time bonuses, because for some stupid reason, Sigma will keep the timer going and won't reset the timer whenever you say continue.
Yeah, because what he's talking about is one of the achievements is for getting Master Ninja, and in order to do that, you have to beat it, pretty quickly. But if you hit continue,
for the time bonus,
the time keeps going. It doesn't restart to your last save, so you have to quit and then reload your save in order to get the time to restart, which is really dumb.
which is exactly what continued would do anyways.
Yeah.
So it's just extra loading screens every time you die.
But glad you made it through a couple levels on your stream last night. I saw you go live while I was streaming. I was like, oh, he's getting.
I'm now keeping a death counter on this playthrough. I'm at 129 deaths already.
Oh, geez. So, all right. Well,
from 2 streams.
I'll mention that when we get around to me.
The first stream was a waste of time, though.
Yeah, because you didn't know about the timer thing. So I'm glad you made some progress last night. But yeah, I saw you go live while I was streaming. Like, you got a little bit later start than usual, but I think that's because of your work stuff.
It's because of my work schedule.
Glad you were able to go live last night with some more Ninja Gaiden.
But other than that, I'll continue and I'll play it on Saturday again as well.
So
no, wait, not this Saturday because this Saturday is the Melee things, right?
Oh, the Suffer stream is.
So I'm not going to be.
Saturday.
I don't think I'm going to. I don't think I'm going to stream this Saturday because of that.
Okay.
Well, thank you. I'm sorry to cut into your stream time, but you're not obligated to. But I appreciate it.
It's more because I paid for it.
That's fair. Yes.
So yeah. Before we get to that, go check out Dude on his Rumble channel, which the link is in the stream description. If you want to go see him suffer through Ninja Gaiden Sigma tomorrow night. So James, what do you got going on?
Oh my God, everyone, welcome to the party. Oh my God, I am one half of Melee Games here, and we celebrate all things gaming. What do we got coming up? Well, the main thing I want to tell you, of course, we got the Melee Madness podcast on Thursday. And apart from that, as Dude alluded to, we've got a special Suffer stream brought to you by you guys. Thank you all so much for causing me and Kay pain. It is going to be a long one, folks. We got 20 minutes of Kingdom Hearts. We got 20 minutes of Professional League of Underground pain in my ass. We got 10 minutes of Blade on the PS1, and we got 10 minutes of Fire Emblem Three Houses. That is brought to you by Three Houses. That is brought to you by Mr. Alpha Evray. That is brought to you by Snap Rai Rai. That is brought to you by Insidious Bliss, and that is brought to you by your one and only Dude 1286 that you have right here on the channel. Thank you all so much.
So you ready to get beaten to a pulp?
Who am I? Oh my goodness, it is going to be brutal. That is going to be this Saturday night over on the Melee Games channel. You can find us everywhere, Twitch, Kick, Rumble, YouTube. It's going to be broadcast our suffering live. And of course, I've got a special, unique stipulation in store, which I will reveal soon. So
is
thank
it trivia?
you all so much. In a sense, in a sense. Just a little bit, maybe. You'll see. It's a twist on trivia. So I have to make Kay suffer more. So that is this Saturday over on Melee Games, and thank you, Neo, for dropping the links in there for me. I cannot wait for the pain and the.
I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if he'll be there at start, but I'm definitely going to be watching that one.
It'll be.
It's funny because the last Suffer stream was only 20 minutes, and the stream was like 6.5 hours.
Because I want you guys to get your money's worth, and I'm like, well, gameplay. Or cutscenes aren't gameplay. And all those games were cutscenes. It's all cutscenes. So it's like, there's 2 seconds of gameplay, pause. And then wait 20 minutes. Oh, there's 2 seconds, pause.
Thing is, once you get far enough in Kingdom Hearts, it starts becoming more and more gameplay.
Oh, there we go. But there's so many games that got jam-packed for Saturday. It ain't ending anytime soon.
Well, then again, Pulp doesn't really have anything but gameplay. That'll go by pretty fast. Pulp.
Oh, Professional League of... Yes. That one will go fast, but that is going to be me suffering the most. So that if you want to see me go through pain, it'll be short and sweet, and that's going to be Professional League of Underground pain. Oh, God.
So what was the total minutes between both you and Kay?
God, I failed.
They have 30 minutes each.
30 minutes each? Okay. I think it's 60 minutes. So 20, according 40, to the math of the last episode, last Suffer stream, it should take roughly 18 hours.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh,
thing is, though, they're hitting the limit of 12 hours for most platforms at that point.
Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, there's 4 games an hour. It's going over the hour. No doubt it. Oh dear God.
So that'll be a fun one. I'm looking forward to that one. So yeah, JB's like 60 minutes. He's got it on lock.
Yeah, I'll be timing every second. Oh my god.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on another episode of Top 5. Especially on both of you guys on basically last minute notice, since I was kind of disconnected from a lot of scheduling stuff last week since I was out of town. So
yeah, I was told to come on the show and I was drunk at the time and I'm like, mouse and keyboard and Xbox. I'm in. There we go. That was how
I sent a message. I got a group chat with James and Kay, and I'm like, hey, if either of you are interested, and then Kay's like, James will be on. I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
So
thank
you for coming on.
Oh, I loved it.
All right. And Jason, you got anything you want to plug?
Yeah, new show coming very soon.
I want to talk about this after you're done with it.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, new show coming soon. I haven't figured out a day that I want to do it. But again, if you're into more nostalgia, this is another show that's going to be right up your alley. If you are interested in the idea that I came up with and you are in Neo's Discord, drop me a message because it is going to be another like panel one. But pretty much what it is, it's going to be called Tons of Fun's Newsstand. And what we're doing is we are going through magazines of back in the day. Yeah, we're going back through all magazines. I have all bunch on my computer right now. We're just gonna flip through the pages, read them, see all the games that didn't come out, see the game reviews when they did come out. Do we agree with them? I've already seen a couple things. I'm like, wait, this never came out. This, all this kind of stuff. So, it's gonna be a good nostalgia walk through time through pages. And it's another thing that I used to love doing because I used to go to grocery stores and parents would grocery shop and I would just sit out there and I would read as much as I could, and after I get done reading I'd be like, throw it in the cart and hey, I got this, and they never paid attention because it was always with groceries. So it's kind of cool to kind of go through a bunch of like the cover arts of all the magazines from now, even some of the older Game Pros that I was been going through, because I think that's the first magazine we're going to cover. It was like, man, I don't ever remember them coming out in 90. And then kind of progressing to see all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be another nostalgia kind of trip. If you are interested, even if you weren't a magazine person and you just would kind of see what they are and you want to be on the show to be like, oh wait, I do remember this game. Give me a message. I'd love to have you on the show. If you don't, you just want to see how the episode goes. I'm just going to be flipping through magazines and just going like, oh, I remember this kind of thing like that. So let me know if you want to be involved in that or if you just want to watch, but that's going to be coming very, very, very soon.
Yeah. Thanks. He pitched this idea a couple weeks ago, I think it was right before we went live on Top 5. And then after that last episode of Top 5, we were ranking our gaming April Fool's pranks. He kind of it showed me what he was thinking. We kind of bounced some ideas off of each other. And I think we ended up chatting and doing this off stream longer than our Top 5 was, which was 2 hours. Because I think we were probably chatting and doing this for another 3.5 hours.
Yeah,
the stream ended. So I was like, this is a great idea.
Episode, yeah. The pilot episode happened right off stream and without even trying to happen. It was just like, oh yeah, this, and then just kind of just flipping through a page. It's like, yeah, this is what the show is going to be, and it could be one magazine, it could be two. It's just going to go with time. Like I said, if we get through a bunch, we get through a bunch. If we get through one and we just read all the articles and look through all the pages, it's just one of those kind of things. So like I said, if you are interested, let me know. If you want to watch, like I said, I'm just looking for a time slot that I want to fit it in to make it easy for anybody that wants to watch, Melee stream, Dude stream, Neo stream. I want them to have all the viewers that they possibly can. I don't want to take anybody's up, and just want to have something nice, a little easy, just to have, to watch, on the downtime.
So yeah, great idea. I'm very much looking forward to it because it was a lot of fun just flipping through some old magazine, gaming magazines, and be like, oh, I remember that. And you're like, hey, here's something you might not know about that game that I knew off the top of my head. It was great.
And then this one's gonna be coming in a couple months, but Demo Days is gonna be coming up too. And that one's gonna be pretty much I'm gonna go through all the PlayStation interactive CDs, and my job is to beat each one every time I do a demo day. And I got all those ready to go as well. So
I'm pretty sure some of those have achievements on Retro Achievements.
Oh, do they?
Demo discs do?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, you have to look at the back of the list because of the way they sort things.
Yeah. I got them already working. So yeah, Demo Days will be another show. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because when we were talking about magazines, I was like, it'd be a good idea for a stream is just go through old Xbox magazine demo disc, PlayStation magazine demo disc, PC gaming magazine demo disc. He's like, yeah, I'm already going to do that. I'm like, oh, well, sweet.
Yeah.
So Jason's got some great stuff.
They don't have any of those, but they do have Ridge Racer bonus turbo mode disc, which is a
Okay.
demo.
Okay.
I
remember
think
that
it's
one as
more
much.
for just like specific games. I don't think they have ones for like the combos, but they could because they technically did it for that collector's edition for Zelda, which has the Wind Waker demo.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Jason's got some great stuff coming up planned for his channel. So definitely go give him a sub, which all the links to everyone's channels are in the stream description, but dropped them in the chat as well. So go give him a sub over on his channel. Let's get his numbers up because those are going to be a lot of fun. So, and as for myself, as mentioned last night, I did another episode of Metroidvania Monday, as per usual. Finished off Metroid Dread and got started on Metroid Prime because I didn't think I was going to beat Dread last night when I started, and I was a lot closer to the end than I thought. So I was like, it's only been an hour and a half. So I started up Metroid Prime. So we're making our way through Metroid Prime. That shouldn't take very long because, as I mentioned on my stream last night, there was a retro achievement for beating it in under 3.5 hours. So I could probably do the whole thing in one stream if I really wanted to. But yeah, so that's what we're doing is we're going. Oh, because I looked at it since we beat Dread, I was like, I wonder what the best order is to play the rest of them, which is the Prime games, including Prime Hunters and Other M. So it's going to be Prime 1, Metroid Prime Hunters, Prime 2, Prime 3, Other M is the order.
What about Prime Pinball?
I love that one.
Oh my God, it is good, but I don't think at least I may play it, but I'm not going to be doing that one on stream. So
good one.
But I will also be continuing Ninja Gaiden tomorrow night as well. So probably about the same time Dude is. So I'll be doing Ninja Gaiden Black, and I'm only doing it on hard, but go check out Dude doing it on Master Ninja on his Rumble channel. And I'm hoping I'll be able to beat it tomorrow night because I'm a decent way through the game, but I don't have anything going on tomorrow, so I could either start earlier or I could go later. We'll see. And then Thursday night, I will be having the next episode of Open Mic, and a good buddy, Paul Hadouken, will be joining me, and we're going to be talking about
You better not
Vegas.
flake on you again.
Yeah. So yeah, I got to meet him in Vegas, had a lot of good time hanging out with him, and we're going to talk about our fun time we had in Vegas, and who knows what other video game related stuff we'll be talking
You
about.
got a studio and he didn't even show up.
Yeah, I know. So
Oh my God, the heat. Look, it's like wrestling in here.
we're not going to let him live that one down. That's for sure. So, and next Monday is going to be Mass Effect Monday. So if anyone wants to join me for some Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, let me know. That'll be next Monday, the 28th. And then the next episode of Achievement Chase will be next Thursday. So Dude and I will be back here live next Thursday to talk about our achievement hunting over the course of April. So Paul's still here. He says I might flake on him. I'll be playing Elden Ring that day. Then you'll never live it down. When we're talking about the last Suffer stream, 20 minutes of gameplay taking 6.5 hours, JB says it's like the last few minutes of a sports ball game when everyone uses timeouts and 90 seconds on the clock is a half hour of real time. Exactly.
I straight up use NFL rules 100%, and it's
but
really
unlike NFL, that you actually use it throughout the entire game, not just the last
Yes.
2 minutes.
Time. Yes, and the reason for that it's literally not because I forget. It's just you guys are so generous. I want to make sure that you are feeling like you're getting your money's worth while I sit through immense pain. So it should be a fun one on Saturday. Thank you guys again.
I'm very much looking forward to that. And again, that Suffer stream is starting at 6 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday night over on Melee.
So that's 9 o'clock
Melee
my time.
channel.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
be good.
And one little random tidbit here, lowest expectation, he beat Majora's Mask with a flight stick once. That is pretty
There
cool.
you go. Oh my goodness.
So, and last thing, Paul is blaming it on Steve on why he missed party chat last week.
What did my
Steve's
husband
fault.
do to you?
So, all right. Well, with that, we'll say goodnight. Thank you, everyone. James and Dude for being on the panel. Thank you, everyone in chat, for hanging out with us for coming up here on 4 hours. It was a lot of fun talking controllers with all of you guys and everyone in chat. And achievements need to be in every game. So with that, that was just for you, Canadian. Everyone have a great night. We will see you later. And as always, in the meantime, game on.
Goodbye.